Good evening, people. Good evening. How the hell y'all doing? Coco B, where the hell you been? Hey, Snow Cole. Hey, how y'all doing? Margie, I see you. Margie, what the heck? You just be. I need you to be a field reporter for me. Your ass be everywhere. Infamous, I seen you in where the fuck did I see you? It was some YouTuber channel, but she said she had got taken advantage of by the Atlanta Street Diaries and Chronicles dude or some shit. That's weird. Apparently, this guy goes around and interviews homeless people, with homeless women mostly, and then he sleep with them. He has to. Shit's weird. It's weird. But how y'all doing? Truth, you a troublemaker. You gonna get both of us killed for that earlier. We escaped the Rico, and it's like you trying to get us put in it.
Welcome.
Okay, well, we got strange news stories. This first one is strange and disturbing. I'm gonna play 3 different news coverages on it, but it's about the lady that killed her boyfriend, pushed both of her kids out on the expressway. The 9-year-old survived, the baby died, and then she crashed into a tree and killed herself. Let's get into it. Oh, somebody in Dalton is finally getting arrested, but it ain't got shit, indicted, but it ain't got nothing to do with the city of Dalton. He committed some other type fraud and they own him. They just found any type of way to take him down. But that's what they do. They gonna get him to snitch on Tiffany. Soon they get he got fed shit. They gonna get him to snitch on Tiffany. That story coming up after these. Oh no, where's the volume?
8-month-old baby, an infant. Tonight, our I-team has learned exclusive new details. An 8-month-old baby, an infant, and her sister were pushed out of a moving car onto the freeway by their mother. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Annabelle Sedano. Authorities say Danielle Johnson is suspected of murdering her boyfriend in Woodland Hills. She died later that morning after crashing her car in Redondo Beach.
Our investigative reporter, Eric Leonard, has been working this story all day. He joins us with what he discovered. And warning for you, Eric, these details very, very disturbing.
Very true, Colleen. Detectives say they believe that this 8-month-old baby was in her 9-year-old sister's arms when their mother pushed them out of the passenger door and into traffic on the 405 early yesterday morning. The 9-year-old girl lost her grip, the baby fell into the roadway and was hit by cars. The 9-year-old made it to the shoulder and survived. And police tell me they may never learn the reasons any of this happened.
Oh no, so the 9-year-old is gonna feel like it's her fault the baby died because she lost her grip. Oh. And I think they're saying that the 9-year-old saw her mom kill her boyfriend too. So that child is going to be traumatized.
Really don't know why this incident escalated to such violence.
LAPD detectives say there is no rational explanation for the horrific violence that began with the stabbing murder of 29-year-old Jalen Cheney inside an apartment in Woodland Hills, then the death of the 8-month-old in the lanes of the 405 freeway. Police say there's no doubt the mother of the girls, named Danielle Johnson, was the only person responsible.
Looking at the history between the victim and suspect, they have been dating for a few years, but there's no prior incidents of domestic violence reported between the two, no calls for service at their apartment, and they've been living there for about a year and a half now.
He says Cheney was stabbed once in the chest above the heart, and the 9-year-old girl was an eyewitness. A short time later, the girl was holding her baby sister in the front passenger seat of Johnson's SUV when Johnson slowed the car while on the 405 in Culver City and pushed the girls out.
During that event, the 9-year-old sustained moderate injuries. She was able to get up from the middle of the freeway and run to the shoulder.
She slowed down in the middle of the motherfucking expressway. Oh. I guess the positive part would be she killed herself at the end.
to avoid traffic. But unfortunately, the 8-month-old baby remained in the middle of the freeway and was struck by moving vehicles.
The CHP and Redondo Beach police say about a half hour later, Johnson's Porsche collided with trees while going 100 to 120 miles per hour. The impact wrecked the car and Johnson was killed instantly. Johnson was the mother of both girls and was in the process of getting a divorce from another man. Neither she nor Cheney appear in recent court records, but neighbors at their apartment complex told NBC4 they often heard arguing and fighting.
It's like literally so tragic. I don't even know. I feel so.
She was in the middle of a divorce, and it was too right to just take the kids to the daddy. But she probably did that because she didn't want the dad to. She wanted the dad to suffer. This shit is crazy. And they say women are more nurturing.
For that little girl and that poor baby.
So even though it appears there is no one to prosecute, the LAPD says it will fully investigate the circumstances just like any other murder case. The 9-year-old girl who survived was interviewed by specialists in child trauma, and detectives tell me they do not plan to question her again. They say she has family here and out of state, but for the moment is in the protective care of the county. Live in the newsroom, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to you.
Why not?
Now to the
Why not with the, unless the guy she was getting divorced from wasn't their dad, but why wouldn't they be giving it to the dad if that's the guy she's getting divorced from? Well, they're about to explain this woman's background. Her background comes into play. Where's the next video? Hold on. Can't do it like this. If the next two videos is going to explain her background.
Los Angeles area where officials believe three tragic crime scenes, a murder, a fatal crash, and the death of an infant found on the freeway are all related. Fox 11's Haley Winslow is joining us live now from Redondo Beach near the site of the deadly crash. Haley, what more can you tell us?
Lexi, nearly an entire family was killed within a couple of hours of each other in 3 different locations and under vastly different circumstances, but all circumstances that seemed so preventable. And now a little girl.
See, at the time when they did this story, they didn't know that this story was connected to the guy being dead and the crash. They think when the 8-month-old, they thought that was just a separate incident.
Left with scars that will likely never heal. A tragic end in Redondo Beach Monday morning leaves a 9-year-old girl in the hospital, suddenly all alone. She lost her whole family in 3 different locations.
Even though I do this every day, this definitely hits home. It hits definitely different when it's a kid that, didn't really have a chance, especially an infant, a baby, that's really helpless. And just to see this is very traumatic.
That baby was killed on the side of the freeway in front of her older sister. It was about 4:30 in the morning on the 405 North near Howard Hughes, and a driver saw the 2 girls, stopped, and called 911.
We did have a witness who called this in. They did stop. They're the ones that, put out that information. They said there was a dark sedan vehicle in the area at the time.
Investigators from several different law enforcement agencies are working to piece this all together, but they believe it started with a domestic dispute at the Montecito apartment complex in Woodland Hills. Sources say a woman in her mid-30s stabbed her partner, killing him, and then took off with the kids in a black Porsche. The big question, how did the girls end up on such a busy freeway? Detectives are trying to figure out if they fell or were pushed out of the car. Do their injuries give you any kind of indication as to what happened to these kids?
Great question. So as far as the type of injuries, there's some sort of trauma going on with these injuries. However, there's so many different things that could have happened to how that took place.
I would think dash cameras in people's cars, if they were driving the area at 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, could really help you guys.
That would be huge. Yes. So like I said, anybody that was in that area, that general area, 4 to 5 a.m. in the 405 area between, Howard Hughes, Centinela, as we're putting it out, every little thing could help us out at this point to get to the bottom of this.
Inside this now mangled Porsche, sources say was the girl's mom, who died when she crashed into a tree near a church in Redondo Beach, leaving the 9-year-old girl the sole survivor in this awful tragedy. And that little girl is expected to survive and recover from her traumatic injuries, at least physically, but the mental and the emotional battles that she'll be going through from the memories of this morning will likely stay with her for the rest of her life. Reporting live in Culver City at CHP in West LA, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News. Back to you, Lindsay.
Yeah, just horrific. Haley, thank you. All right, well, to help us piece together even further what happened here, we want to bring in Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez, who's joining us live now, and she's in the Woodland Hills area where someone was murdered. Christina.
And this is where that family actually lived. We know that much. We know they moved in here about 1.5 years ago, pretty much kept to themselves. But when people started hearing screaming last night at about 3:30, they didn't think too much of it because they had heard screaming from the apartment before. But then there was a blood coming out of the apartment. Here's what people are saying. Listen.
I heard screaming.
Could you make out if it was a man or a woman?
I heard a little girl screaming.
It was a little girl screaming.
And a mom, I think.
What residents at the Montecito Apartments in Woodland Hills heard about 3:30 in the morning coming out of a neighboring apartment where a young couple, a 9-year-old girl and an infant, were living.
Someone screaming for help.
I heard this big thump. Like sounded like a bowling ball hitting my whole ceiling vibrated.
That was probably the sound of a vehicle crashing through the building's apartment gate as it sped out of the parking.
Yeah, she fled the scene and ran over the gate. Just said, fuck it.
Hot. Then
walked out our front door, and to the left is their door, and their door was wide open, and there was blood all throughout their front door, all the way to the hallway leading to the elevator, and blood on the walls. So then I called my dad.
I went into the apartment. I stepped over blood puddles and checked on the body and saw that he was dead.
White people so courageous because I promise you, I wouldn't have went in that damn apartment. I would have just called the police. What he going to do? He courageous as a motherfucker. Just don't know if he could be next. But he had to go see what was going on.
Face down and I called 911, of course.
It wasn't until later many of the residents at the apartment building realized that 2 children ejected from a vehicle on the 405 freeway were the same ones living in the apartment where the man was found dead.
No. Oh my gosh, the girl used to play with my daughter. That's so sad.
Any indication ever that something was going on there that could possibly even close to end in a bad way?
Our neighbors have heard fighting, and I've heard fighting, but I could never imagine this. You don't think your neighbor's going to get murdered. No.
Well, a lot of going on up there. And, at one point I was thinking of calling Child Protective Services, but because I had I don't know. I just did.
Then the baby.
Y'all wouldn't call the police for fighting. You were going to call CPS for you don't know.
You didn't make it? Because I saw, oh my God, I'm like going to be sick.
And back here live, I'll tell you, even some of the responding officers are pretty upset about it. They just removed a parakeet and 2 bunny rabbits. They're fine. They're alive. They are the pets belonging to those children. It's a very difficult crime scene, though, and one that they are still processing. Live in Woodland Hills, I'm Christina Gonzalez. Back to you guys.
Christina, thank you. What an awful story. We appreciate your reporting on this and the very latest updates here.
In the Rich area.
Thank you.
Police say a woman apparently...
That's the third installment of this story. Now, this is the Law and Crime Network. They went through tweets and all that shit and tried to come up with a motive for this madness.
Concerned by the solar eclipse, killed her partner, her baby, and herself in a disturbing crime spree across Los Angeles.
She thought the eclipse meant Jesus was coming back.
Oh.
Why would she be scared of that, though? Why would she be scared of Armageddon? Yeah, I'm close to Mississippi.
And what started as an already shocking crime took a strange twist when police dug into the background of their suspect. We're breaking down the most peculiar details in this story.
The warning is in the title. Strange and shocking news stories that may be new to you.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The solar eclipse from last week was incredible. It brought everyone out. It was an incredible...
Man, I saw this channel the other day, and they were... I don't know who the fuck shared it out, but they were... Gabe, I hear your thing in the back. I hear myself in your background. They were doing something trying to say how the CERN was fucking with the eclipse and it was faking because they were talking about the moon is reflective and all of this shit. And he was like, well, why you can't see how the moon dark? And it's because they had on glasses, you dumbass. The glasses made the moon fucking dark. You typically can't see the moon in the goddamn daytime when the sun is shining. You just can't. I seen that shit. I was like, these niggas are stupid. So they just forgot that the only reason that the sun looked orange and the shit was blacked out is because you had the fucking glasses on. Or otherwise, if you looked at it like my jet, you couldn't see the fucking moon in front of the sun. I said, these niggas are stupid. Yeah, you do, but it's very, very rare. It is very, very rare that you see it. It's not like an everyday occurrence where you can look up and you can see the moon out at the same time as the sun. And then when that happens too, they typically be far away from each other. But this nigga was trying to say, hold up now, the moon is reflective and how is it gonna block the sun? Cause I said, man. And he had like 2,000 people watching. I was like, this is fucked up. I think Mad shared him. I think it was somebody Mad shared the other day.
Because the Earth is flat, man. It's the government.
Well, I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther, but again, I use my common sense on shit like that. What he was talking about was like, bro, it's the fucking lens that the camera lenses that they were showing in the sky even had the glasses on them.
Do you really think the Earth is flat?
Yes. It makes more sense than being a ball. But also, I always go to this. A hockey puck is round and flat. A pizza is round and flat. And then all the older models of how the Earth is depicted as being flat in a dome.
I think, well, to me, honestly, it's the most, who cares? Conspiracy, because even
it could be round and a disc.
Even if the Earth is flat, I would go, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess we just have to change a few things. I don't see
the moon would be flat too.
I don't know. I still think it's round because the people that have been, out in space, at least, not all the way space.
Nobody's ever been to space, Gabe. Nobody's ever been to space.
Space station, dude.
Gabe, that doesn't exist. That's fake, Gabe. It's fake.
William Shatner,
I guess you
into the most you can go up to before it's like space base.
Are you talking about the captain of the? Are you talking about the captain of the Starship?
Yeah.
Bruh, come on now. Why wouldn't they want him to go? To just keep the bullshit going.
Who else has gone up there? There's a
going up where to the space station.
Everyone says no, not all the way up to the space station, but at least up in space to where you can see Earth.
Gabe,
they all say
picture it, Sicily. When they landed on the moon, these niggas called back to the White House. They called the White House from the moon. How the fuck did they do that, Gabe? When did we get cell phones, Gabe?
Did you say picture it, Sicily?
Picture it, Sicily, like Truth say.
Oh, okay. That's up.
When the fuck did and it wasn't a delay, a lag, or nothing. I have a lag playing, bruh. I have lag playing a nigga in 2K across the country. They was on the moon and they called the goddamn president and it was clear as hell.
Oh, I know I stopped playing because your music's too loud. I had my Sicily music playing in the background. Damn it.
beautiful sight. People from all over were looking up. They were gazing out. They were excited to see it. It was supposed to be a happy time. I mean, here in New York, it was incredible to see so many people outside together. It was a communal atmosphere. Rare to see that. But out in Los Angeles, this eclipse brought a gruesome crime scene. And I want to focus right now on one woman.
And her crazy ass was fine.
Really?
And the
man, she's a looker.
Blonde brunette.
Of destruction she left behind.
She's black.
Daniel.
Man,
Oh.
so she had black hair one day, blonde the next, red the other, green. It's just
Because you just want to change things up. You want to change
Yeah,
things
you gotta
up.
switch it up.
Yeah, I get it.
Ayuka.
Gotta switch up the protective styles.
I know.
Legal name Danielle Johnson, was a 34-year-old woman living in Los Angeles with her 2 children. A 9-year-old.
Well, saying we weren't in the path, so it didn't get, as y'all can see in my background, it just got like it looked like it was dusk, but it didn't get dark because we weren't in the full path of it.
And an 8-month-old. And she was also living with her partner, 29-year-old Jalen Cheney. Now, over the past several years, Johnson's online presence has increased dramatically as she worked as a, quote, astrology influencer. She went by the name Ayuka and the handle on X at Mystic X Lipstick. She would give advice.
And she had the pink weave.
And presence has increased dramatically as she worked as a, quote, astrology influencer. She went by the name Ayuka and the handle on X at Mystic X Lipstick. She would give advice based on a person's astrological sign and offered paid private spiritual readings. For example, on March 19th, Johnson...
This crazy bitch doing paid spiritual readings.
She's probably the one that told me I was a 5%er.
No, that lady is still alive, sir. That was Lady Wu.
Oh, okay. Well, still close enough.
Posted on X, formerly Twitter. Pisces, Aries, Leo, and Taurus placements are going to feel this equinox energy the strongest for this year. These are the prominent planets in the sky right now. It's your astro lottery ticket. And an account reposted it saying, quote, I've never felt more powerful. She also posted a GIF of a candle with the text, free eclipse, protection candle for your mind and body. This will be active for the eclipse window. Link to activate. Now let's
a goddamn candle.
Let's talk about what happened on that day, the day of the eclipse. According to Los Angeles police, on April 8th, the day of the eclipse, around 3:30 a.m., Johnson and Cheney got into an argument. This was inside their apartment in the Woodland Hills area. That is when police believe that Johnson stabbed Cheney to death and fled with the 2 children. Once they were on the 405, which is a very busy LA freeway, Johnson allegedly pushed both of her children from the moving car. LAPD Lieutenant Guy Golan told local media, quote,
I ain't know allegedly that's what the fuck happened.
Suspect slowed the vehicle and opened the passenger door for her daughter and told her to get out of the car. When the daughter didn't do that, she forcibly pushed her out of the vehicle in the middle of the freeway while moving. The 9-year-old girl was holding the baby at that time when she was ejected from the vehicle. As she hit the roadway, she injured herself and she let go of the infant being in the middle of the freeway. It is absolutely horrific. It's actually tough just to even describe it.
No, she stabbed her boyfriend. She stabbed her longtime boyfriend. Then she ran the house. She left the house with the kids. Then she was driving on the expressway away from the murder scene, pushed the kids out.
The children on the freeway, the 8-month-old girl died.
Why? I don't give a damn how slow she ain't bring that motherfucker to a complete stop. That's why the girl wasn't jumping out when she said get out. She still pushed her out. She ain't even pulled the motherfucker over to the emergency lane. And I can just imagine this 9-year-old, the baby didn't feel, but all she could think about is, oh, I'm scarred up, I'm bleeding, and I gotta get out the middle of this fucking expressway. I don't know if he was their dad or not. I don't think So, because they were saying she was getting a divorce from another man. So I don't think he was their dad. I mean, he may have been the newborn's dad, but probably not the 9-year-olds.
But miraculously, the 9-year-old had moderate injuries. She was taken to the hospital. But it doesn't really end there, because police say that Johnson then drove her car, Porsche SUV, at over 100 miles an hour and crashed into a tree in the city of Redondo Beach. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Crazy.
That's the only good
part.
But
going back to Johnson's apartment building. What happened was apparently a neighbor who had heard the couple fighting the night before noticed blood in the hallway and the elevator area. They called 911. Cheney found stabbed to death in the kitchen. A knife was found at the scene, as well as tarot cards and black feathers. This is what's being reported. And what makes this so out of left field is police say that the couple had no documented history of domestic violence or any kind of disturbance calls. Now, as word of this violent rampage started to spread, attention once again turned to Johnson's Ioka persona online. Were there any clues? She had a solid following, by the way, of around 100,000 people on X. She had previously been mentioned in articles and outlets like Refinery 29 and The Fader, which posted positive reviews about Johnson's apparent clairvoyant skills. We found a website. It was called DanielleIoka.com, believed to be hers, and it states, quote, Danielle Ioka is a certified Reiki master teacher who is also trained in over 10 different alternative healing modalities. At a young age, Danielle had a near-death experience at 3 years old, which served as her rite of passage into shamanism. Coming from a rich lineage of indigenous shaman and medicine women, Danielle's spiritual gifts began to blossom. Danielle began her tutelage with her personal healer in 2011 after beginning her own healing journey. After 3 years of intensive training, Danielle began to expand her abilities by creating a unique method of healing that combined her training along with her knowledge of energy, physics, and psychology. After going to undergrad for psychology, Danielle
she was one of them woke, extra woke sisters.
Decided she wanted to go beyond the mundane limitations of the traditional therapeutic methods of healing and started her professional career. Hey there, everybody. So one of my favorite things about being a host here on Law and Crime is how passionate our audience is. You guys, popular opinions that we have seen in a crime, strategies, and we have launched a whole new gripping and unique interrogation. Now go subscribe, posting and reposting apparent warnings about the solar eclipse. Click the link in the description to step inside the interrogation room on Law and Crime Interrogations. But in the past few months, Johnson was constantly posting and reposting apparent warnings about the solar eclipse. She also seemingly shared conspiracy theories. In a post from February, she wrote, quote, one thing we need to watch out for with this Pluto and Aquarius transit is the powers that be will try to use social media technology influence from the 11th house Uranus to create mass societal destruction. This is the lower vibration of Pluto. Do not fall for it. Johnson also reportedly reposted a tweet from a QAnon account. Quote, alert, this is the final warning. Turn notifications on. Do not look at the eclipse. Something big is coming. And then we have this post from April 4th where she wrote, quote,
I looked at the eclipse without glasses and with glasses.
This eclipse is the epitome of spiritual warfare. Get your protection on and your heart in the right place. The world is very obviously changing right now. And if you ever needed to pick a side, the time to right in your life is now. Stay strong. You got this. Johnson also offered apparent spells of protection like this one called the Eclipse Flash Spell. The lunar eclipse is lining up with the nodes of fate, and we're burning all misfortune and unfair outcomes out of here. Our lives will be stable and balanced. This will work for 6 months. And in one of her final post, the one that is...
That didn't say shit. That was supposed to protect you from something. That didn't say nothing at all.
Incredibly chilling in light of these horrific crimes and acts. It included a gif of a woman with a megaphone, and the post reads, quote, wake up, the apocalypse is here. Everyone who has ears listen. Your time to choose what you believe is now. If you believe a new world is possible for the people, retweet now. There is power in choice. There is power in choice. Repost to make the choice for the collective. Now, to be clear, the LAPD investigation is ongoing, and police have said that they are not blaming Johnson's belief in astrology and magic as the cause or the motivation for these crimes. Rather, they just say they don't know yet why she did this. And the truth is, with her dead, we may never know. A family member who wanted to remain anonymous told the Los Angeles Times that she believed that the killings could be related to postpartum issues rather than Johnson's beliefs. Right now, the person with the most knowledge about what happened is unfortunately Johnson's 9-year-old daughter, who is recovering in the hospital. This is according to the latest reports. Police believe that she witnessed Cheney's stabbing as well as the death of her baby sister. And I just want to say real quick that our hearts and prayers are with her. It is unimaginable what she went through. And it is unimaginable how she will recover from this. But we are wishing her nothing but the very best. That's all we have for you here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, the next one, we're going into Dalton because they're somehow happy that Keith Freeman is indicted, but not for anything with what he doing on the city boards.
Cheryl, Keith Freeman is facing a federal charge, but he is not, we're told by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago, in federal custody tonight. But people here at Dalton Village Hall say they haven't seen him either since word of that indictment dropped just a few hours ago.
The man responsible for running the day-to-day...
Oh, Leah, they was just drunk. They ain't go crazy. They was just drunk.
in neighboring South suburban communities is now under federal indictment. Federal prosecutors say Keith Freeman, the village administrator in both Dalton and Thornton Township, repeatedly lied when he filed for bankruptcy earlier this year. The indictment says it was in part his title and salary in Dalton that was central to Freeman's lies to the feds. Dalton trustees say Freeman's position at Village Hall has been a question for some time.
There was a lot of controversy on whether or not he was an employee or if he was contracted. Now they're saying that he did.
I did not know bankruptcy fraud was a federal crime. That just brought me back to the blacked out lady. I didn't realize it was a federal crime because I remember looking at that shit that was put down, the 30, the amount of money on cards and who. I did not know this, or did I don't know. Did they make it a fed crime just because it was dude and they wanted to make him sweat? But I didn't know this.
List this information, so that's a problem.
In the indictment, prosecutors say Keith Freeman, quote, made several false statements and omissions in the document, including knowingly underreporting income from his employment as both the village administrator for Dalton and the municipality manager for Thornton Township. And prosecutors say Freeman lied under oath, claiming, quote, he was not an employee of Dalton and that he did not receive a payment from Dalton. A month later, the indictment says his Dalton paycheck went directly into an undisclosed bank account.
And if he can't handle his own business, how in the world can he handle ours?
Freeman has been a close ally of embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Longtime residents and frustrated leaders of Dalton say this federal fraud charge against Administrator Keith Freeman is a relief.
We've been waiting for some justice to be served. At the next board meeting, if he show up, I'll ask him to step down again.
That is stupid. This lady said, this is a trustee Norwood. We've been waiting for justice to get served. Ma'am, you taking credit for him getting locked up and charged with some shit unrelated to what y'all want him to be investigated for. This is something totally different. Had that nigga not lied in bankruptcy court, y'all wouldn't be getting justice. You can't take a win for this. This is a prime example of niggas preying on your downfall. Now, I know they mad at him for what he does for Tiffany, as her, whatever the fuck he is, in Thornton Township and in Dalton. Cool. But how you gonna be celebrating this nigga going to jail or being charged with some shit in his personal life? and say we've been. That's like this nigga getting caught with 2 pounds of weed at the house, and you hear about it and say we've been waiting for justice. They got him. No, he need to be charged with some corrupt shit or have some dirt on the other people. I guess they want to win anyway.
Because he's an embarrassment to this community.
We have repeatedly tried to reach Keith Freeman by phone over the past few hours, but all of those calls have gone directly to voicemail. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago.
He's on the run, ma'am. He know he got a warrant out. Most people would turn themselves in right away.
He's with P. Diddy.
Especially with P. Diddy was never charged with anything. This nigga has been indicted. Which means there's a warrant out for his arrest because they brought criminal charges against him. They've been talking about this shit all day. He know this why he cut his phone off. But as a public figure, you would think he would go turn himself in immediately. Why is he running around all day? When they did this story 4 hours ago, the Chicago Bureau of Investigations had to let the world know, or Illinois Bureau of Investigations, let the world know, and well, he ain't turned himself in yet. He ain't in custody.
Freeman will be scheduled for an arraignment before a federal judge at a future date.
Watch breaking. He got to be brought in custody to get arraigned. His lawyer is supposed to negotiate his release. All right. Mom left her 2 kids home alone to go on vacation.
Sorry, you will only.
These mothers, boy, I'm telling you, such nurturing spirits and natural. What do they call them? Gave natural maternal instinct. That maternal instinct, boy.
I have a question. Is she white?
I don't know. I'll see in a second.
We'll see. Okay.
See here on 13, a mother.
Let's listen to the name. Let's be racist.
Okay.
Is accused of ditching her children to go on vacation. ABC 13 was there as the 29-year-old mother was brought into the Harris County Jail after she was arrested for leaving her young children home alone while she went on a cruise. Our Jessica Willie is live with the unbelievable allegations. Jessica.
That's a white woman.
Lakeisha Williams was arrested around 5.
Oh hell no, Keisha Williams. Keisha, that's the nigga. Keisha Williams. Mother Keisha, why you ain't take them babies over your grandma's house or something?
I tried, Trey. I tried.
Children home alone while she went on a cruise. Our Jessica Willie is live with the unbelievable allegations. Jessica.
A cruise.
Lakeisha Williams was arrested around 5:30 tonight here at her luxury apartment building in the Memorial area. According to Precinct 5, the mother
she had a luxury apartment.
Flew to Miami last Thursday.
Oh, this bitch left her kids to go to Miami.
Oh, Miami.
She wanted to shake some ass.
Miami, where people
on the cruise boat.
Miami's where shady people go for shade. No, wait. Where's it? Oh, that's the thing. Where shady people go for sun. Some shit like that.
To Puerto Rico, leaving her young children home alone for 5 days. And it would have been longer had neighbors not been paying attention. From all-you-can-eat buffets aboard a cruise ship to the back of a Precinct 5 patrol car, Lakeisha Woods Williams is accused of abandoning her children.
Lakeisha Woods Williams. It just sound black.
The 29-year-old mother was taken to jail tonight. The details of the allegations, almost hard to believe.
So that don't even make sense right there.
According to court records, neighbors at Williams' luxury high-rise apartment building, the McKinley, sounded the alarm. They said they saw the mother of 2 children leave with luggage and bags last Thursday, April 4th, and never return. On Tuesday, deputy constables with Precinct 5 responded to a welfare check at her apartment and found her 8-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter home alone. The unit smelled of urine, record state, and was in disarray with trash and leftover food strewn about. And they told the deputies their mother had left to go on vacation on a cruise.
These children were definitely left unattended for many days and put in serious harm's way.
Williams is charged with abandoning her children with intent to return. Deputies did find a web camera and
abandoning children with the intent to return.
That shouldn't even be a law.
Yeah, fuck their intent.
What, because she had a webcam watching them?
Many days.
Anything could have happened while she was on that fucking cruise.
What if the internet went down? You think those kids know how to put a router back up?
And put in serious harm's way.
Williams is charged with abandoning her children with intent to return. Deputies did find a web camera and cell phone.
Grayson ain't going nowhere. 5. She not sitting in this motherfucker by herself. She is gonna go outside and holler and cry and some more shit. She not gonna do it.
Phone that the children.
It's worse, man, she wasn't running away. It means she need her ass whooped. Fuck you, just go. It's an 8 and a 6-year-old. But you know, we do kind of leave our kids at home when they get about 10, 12. We be like, hey, that's what happened to us.
That's the right age, around 12, I would say. 10, 10's iffy.
Black folks don't care, G.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I've seen it too much. Black families will leave the kids home by themselves starting at 10. She was like, fuck it, you 8. Take care of your brother or sister.
Said their
kids
mother
can't be kids.
Used to check in on them. Is that sufficient? Williams is charged with abandoning her children with intent to return. Deputies did find a web camera and cell phone that the children said their mother used to check in on them. Is that sufficient?
Absolutely not.
Prosecutor Keegan Children.
She left them a cell phone and a webcam to check in on them.
How much you want to bet that she
says there is a
8-year-old for fucking it up for her? I'm just saying.
Now the neighbors know she got kids. The neighbors saw her leave, but not the kids. They ain't never see the kids leave. They saw her leave. So they were like, they was nosy. They called for a wellness check. I'm glad they were nosy.
So much potential for danger.
For them to provide for themselves, feed themselves, take care of themselves, as well as, what if somebody breaks in? What if there's, a bad neighbor?
What if there's a medical emergency?
Number of horror nightmare scenarios that could come up.
Firefighters found the kids to be in good health. CPS released them to their aunt, who declined to comment. But Otis Darjean, just a curious onlooker and father himself, had plenty to say.
Like, that's a child, so that don't even make sense. Like, why would somebody leave their young kids behind like that?
Because she need her ass whooped. All right, we're going to Nigeria on this next story. Woman faces 7 years in prison over tomato puree review. This is where Q said she needed a break from. It's tense, but she also said she over there, sitting with lawmakers, getting shit done. They ain't even say she was with no dude. She just went on a cruise. She went by herself. She said, fuck them kids.
Now let's turn to
I'm mad they didn't show us no picture.
Nigeria, where a tomato puree review has landed a woman in jail. I'm not making this up. A woman put up a Facebook post. She complained about a tomato mix. She said it was too sweet. And
she already got locked up for it. She got locked up, tomato paste, tomato puree.
Nigerian police decided to arrest her. She now faces multiple cases, up to 7 years in jail and a fine of puree, whatever that lady said. I don't know what I don't even know what accent this woman got. She sound like she may be part of Hezbollah. Yeah, for tomato paste, man, for tomato paste. Now let's turn to Nigeria, where a tomato puree review has landed a woman in jail. I'm not making this up. A woman put up a Facebook post. She complained about a tomato mix. She said it was too sweet, and the Nigerian police decided to arrest her. She now faces multiple cases, up to 7 years in jail and a fine of 5 billion naira. That's about $3 million US. So $3 million and 7 years in jail, all for a bad review of tomato mix. How is this kind of puree persecution possible? Apparently, Nigeria's Cybercrime Prohibition Act brooks no quarter. Before we get to the legal details, let's look at how we got here. What happened? The alleged crime took place last September, on September 17th. That's when our reviewer put up her Facebook post. Her name is Chioma Okoli. She is 39 years old, a mother of 3, and presently expecting her 4th child. She is an entrepreneur, a small-scale importer of children's clothes. She lives in Nigeria's financial hub, Lagos. On September 16th, a day before she put up the post, she went and bought the tomato mix. Her usual brands were out of stock, so she decided to try a different one. Before using the puree, she decided to taste it, and clearly she was not a fan. So she took to Facebook to air her grievances. She claimed the puree was too sweet, that there was too much sugar in it. And she asked her Facebook followers for their opinion. Now, this set off a furious online debate, apparently with the puree maker's relative, or at least an ardent fan, someone calling themselves Blessing. Now, Blessing began the accursed chain of retribution. They told our reviewer not to bring her problems on social media.
Yes, you heard it right. Blessing Snakes.
What?
Goodwill sister that started, she got that girl locked up.
I hate the fact that they say tomato.
Wait a minute.
Well, I don't know where this woman, she's not a Nigerian woman. She's in a whole nother country just covering world news. It's this channel called First Post.
Did Blessing get that woman locked up, Trey?
Is that what they said? They said Blessing, the family member of the tomato puree, but that ain't Goodwill in them folks, because, you know, they some goat herders. They ain't got no tomato paste.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're Indian. This is the Indian news station.
Oh, God, that's even worse.
That's why she sounds like that.
It was too sweet.
Better.
That there was too much sugar in it. And she asked her Facebook followers for their opinion. Now, this set off a furious online debate, apparently with the puree makers.
Okay, somebody's name is Blessing Oki or something like that.
Claimed the puree was too sweet.
Pilarissima.
That there was too much sugar in it. And she asked her Facebook followers for their opinion. Now, this set off a furious online debate.
Where's Blessing?
Apparently with the puree maker's relative, or at least an ardent.
Yeah, Blessing Okiki. And then Blessing said, hey man, stop spoiling my brother's product. If you don't like it, use another one. Then bring it on social media and call customer service. Ooh.
Fan. Someone calling themselves Blessing. Now, Blessing began the accursed chain of retribution. They told our reviewer not to.
Oh, shit.
In September of 20.
Wait a minute. I hit the wrong button.
A story you will only see here.
Oh, no. Because apparently I just ran into another story that's 21 minutes, and it was from a month ago, where it's talking about the freedom of speech.
Up to 7 years in jail and a fine of 5 billion naira. That's about. She's 39 years old, a mother of 3, and presently expecting her 4th child. She's an entrepreneur, a small-scale importer of children's clothes. She lives in Nigeria's financial hub, Lagos. On September 16th, a day before she put up the post.
And this happened in Lagos.
She went and bought the tomato.
It's tense everywhere you go, huh? You thought you had escaped in Lagos. Nope.
Tomato mix. Her usual brands were out of stock, so she decided to try a different one. Before using the puree, she decided to taste it, and clearly she was not a fan. So she took to Facebook to air her grievances. She claimed the puree was too sweet, that there was too much sugar in it. and she asked her Facebook followers for their opinion. Now, this set off a furious online debate, apparently with a puree maker's relative, or at least an ardent fan, someone calling themselves Blessing. Now, Blessing began the accursed chain of retribution. They told our reviewer not to bring her problems on social media and she should call customer service instead, or just choose a different tomato mix brand. Sounds like every other social media stranger looking to pick a fight. So our reviewer shot back. She told Blessing that the sauce was pure sugar and that it was killing people. Now, up to this point, what do you think?
That it was pure sugar and killing people. See, but you know, that just don't matter where you at, Africa over here, they couldn't just take that with it. That was his opinion. It was like, hey, just buy another one, because she already said that wasn't her original brand anyway. Her original brand was out. They were like, yeah, call customer service and tell them. Like, don't come on social media with it. That's kinfolk. She couldn't leave it at that. Nigga. I heard. Nigga. This shit pure sugar. The fuck? It's killing people.
Normal heated debate on social media, right? Nothing insidious. Well, 7 days later, our reviewer was arrested. Apparently, the Nigerian police think she was part of a criminal conspiracy. I'm serious. This is what she has been charged with: plotting to instigate people against the tomato mix maker. Not just that, she was charged with intentionally making false claims online, an offense under Nigeria's Cyber Crime Prohibition Act. She faces 7 years in prison in this conspiracy.
Damn. Her opinion. She faces 7 years for her opinion. How they gonna say it's false? Well, okay, it's killing people. That's maybe the false statement. I'm about to say, because if they telling a woman it's not too sweet for her, they not her damn taste buds. But yeah, if she's saying it's killing people and there's never been a link to that, but damn, I can see that it's defamation or something, but criminal charges? And Q wanted y'all to go to Nigeria. She wanted women to go to Nigeria. She wasn't telling men to go. She was telling y'all women to go over there and get y'all a Nigerian man so he could get y'all locked up. If y'all see like how y'all talk shit about niggas on social media in America, you go to jail for that over there.
She was part of a criminal conspiracy. I'm serious. This is what she has been charged with: plotting to instigate people against the tomato mix maker. Not just that, she was charged with intentionally making false claims online, an offense under Nigeria's Cyber Crime Prohibition Act. She faces 7 years in prison in this conspiracy case and 3 years and a fine on the false information charge. But this is not even the worst part.
That's why Q was acting like that damn sardine bread was the bone. Because she had said anything different, she'd have been going to jail.
Her arrest itself was horrifying. She says she was picked up from a church by officers in plainclothes. She was put in a holding cell without a place to sit and a leaky roof. She spent the night awake. The next day, she was flown out of the city, taken from Lagos to Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Have you
at the Abuja?
Oh, hell!
Ever heard of something like this?
Hell no.
She got locked up in Lagos and they flew her to Abuja. It's federal crimes what she facing.
That's fucked up.
Without a place to sit and a leaky roof, she spent the night awake. The next day, she was flown out of the city, taken from Lagos to Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Have you ever heard of something like this? Someone being transferred to another city over a Facebook post about tomato puree. Nigeria's police force is quite proud of their approach, though. They say there is no sentiment in law. But seriously, does the Nigerian police really have no other crimes to solve? Have they eradicated every other injustice? Proud of their approach, though. They say this. Someone being transferred to another city over a Facebook post about tomato puree. Nigeria's police force is quite proud of their approach, though. They say
them folks said Frisco's tomatoes matter. Our cybercrime act is potent, effective. as police reaffirms prosecution of Chioma, no sentiment in law. The Nigerian police force reaffirms its commitment to upholding the rule of law in the Frisco tomato matter. The involvement of Ms. Chioma warrants scrutiny as she stands accused of violating some salient parts of the Cybercrime Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act 2015, as preliminary investigations conducted have unearthed compelling evidence indicating Ms. Chioma's alleged role in the violation of extant laws, particularly those related to the proper use of the cyberspace. That's one statement.
There is no sentiment in law. That's serious.
Cold-blooded with that, Jet. Oh, that's the same thing. They said it again. It was the official press release.
Does the Nigerian police really have no other crimes to solve? Have they eradicated every other injustice in the country? That they had the time to transport a source reviewer? After being taken to Abuja, the reviewer was released the next day. She posted bail and promised to make a public apology to the puree company. She says that promise was made under duress, so now she will not apologize.
She lied to get out of jail. She better hope they don't lock her ass up again.
The police tried to arrest her again in January.
Oh, they did.
Meanwhile, Nigerian courts have started hearing the case, and there's no guarantee that the courts will throw it out. This has led to public anger in Nigeria. Protests have been on for months.
Had she just apologized, this shit probably would have went away.
But the authorities are not budged, though. There are limits to the freedom of speech and expression, and in Nigeria, a bad tomato puree review breaches that limit. Now, we believe that cyber crimes and hate speech should be prosecuted anywhere in the world. But this does not sound like one of those incidents. It's a farce, a vegetable vendetta, and a company being too sensitive and vindictive. No one should be fined or jailed for a bad review.
A vegetable vendetta.
Hopefully, Nigeria's courts recognize this for what it is. The case of sour grapes, or should I say, rotten tomatoes.
Okay, Ohaji. All right, let's listen to this woman, Chioma. I think she talks on this story.
In September of 2020.
I just ran across this one as I was watching that one.
23, after attending a program at a church in the Ogudu area of Lagos State, Chioma Okoli, a young mother, was apprehended by members of the Nigerian police force. She was subsequently detained.
And this story goes back to 6 months ago. Shit, because the guy who owns the tomato paste, he says he's suing the reviewer for 5 billion naira.
And arrested. Her purported crime, a social media post she had shared on her Facebook page a few days earlier, expressing dissatisfaction with the taste of a tin tomato mix she had purchased.
So when I opened the Nagico tomato mix, I tasted it. The sugar content was much.
The product in question, known as Nagico tomato,
she don't look nothing like she do on her social media.
Mix is manufactured by Agrisco Foods Limited, whose CEO, Chief Eric Umofia, lodged a complaint with the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria, alleging that Ms. Okoli was the ringleader of a criminal syndicate aiming to sabotage his company.
She's simple evil in my own judgment, and it cannot be allowed. If she have good intention, she will have proven her case by bringing the sample. If she's not a customer, then there's enough that there is some, there is police to report to, there is a federal concern position unit.
I don't know what the fuck he said. We got this. Should I even try to skip it back? We ain't gonna understand this nigga. He said she should have brought a sample back though or something.
Didn't do all these things before she go online.
I don't belong to any syndicate. If there is one, let everyone say the name.
She is now facing charges under Section 24(1) of the Cybercrimes Act of 2015. Chioma Okoli sits and bravely shares her harrowing experience for the first time.
Do you normally do reviews? That's your first time being on Facebook. Were you afraid? Very. Very the police station.
What the fuck? I don't know what the interview was saying.
And I've also heard stories of people going and not coming back.
But this is ridiculous.
So after
let's see what closed caption
section, they now say they are waiting for a call from above.
They say they're waiting for a call from
because my husband was like, "Are we free to go now?"
Because my husband was like, "Are we free to go?"
They're waiting for their calls from above. And after some 5 minutes, they said there's a problem, that the order from above says they should collect my phone. So I had to give them my phone, and they said that I am not going. They walked out. So my husband now went after them to talk with them to know if it's something that we can go, come back maybe tomorrow. They just walked to the woman on duty, said throw her into cell. So because I was the only there was no female person, it was only me inside the cell. It was only inside the cell. So I was inside there. So my brother now sent a lawyer to come. So when the lawyer now came, they brought me out again. So the lawyer said he has already talked to them, and they said that the order is from the IGP, that there is nothing they can do about it. So the lawyer said I should just calm down tomorrow so that they will know what to do by tomorrow. So we stayed there, couldn't sleep. The roof was even leaking because it rained heavily that day. I was basically standing on my legs were inside the water. I prayed. I talked to myself. There's I was seeing people I don't know. Mosquitoes. It was terrible. So I just prayed for money to come.
Freedom of speech is enshrined in Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, which says in part that every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impact ideas and information without interference. In a court session held in Abuja on Friday, the 10th of July 2020, the ECOWAS Court of Justice declared Section 24 of the Cybercrimes Act as vague, arbitrary, and unlawful. The judgment read in part that the defendant state, by adopting provisions of Section 24 of the Cybercrimes Act of 2015, violates Articles 9.2 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and 19.3 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. In July of 2023, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor, stated that the federal government is actively working towards amending the act.
This suppose is cyberbullying my
they're boring me. I'll share that one out. Y'all want it's 20, the thing only did 4 minutes of it, it's 21 minutes long. Somewhere there, I think this is in Detroit. Woman breaks her neck inside
something
St.
like this.
Clair County Jail. If it's not in Detroit, a Detroit news station cover. Isn't taken to hospital for days.
Doesn't happen to anyone else. 7 investigator Heather Cataldo is here now with that story. Heather.
Carolyn and Mike. Imagine falling and breaking your neck, but no one takes you to the hospital right away. Well, that is exactly what a local woman says happened to her inside the St. Clair County Jail.
Now she's trying to make sure something like this doesn't happen to anyone else. 7 investigator Heather Cataldo is here now with that story. Heather.
Carolyn and Mike, Lisa Brown takes full responsibility for why she ended up briefly behind bars, but now she says a 20-day jail sentence has left her with a life sentence of partial paralysis and disability.
Lisa Brown says she's always loved celebrating holidays, playing with her dog Lily, and being outside.
But now this
What
49.
color do you think she is, Gabe? Huh?
9-year-old from St. Clair says doing all of those things has become a lot more challenging after she fractured her neck.
I didn't know if I was going to live.
And it's what transpired after that injury that has Lisa pushing for change.
I thought, I can't move.
Hey, wait a damn minute here. What is this? Eat with Q. Hey, I know how to counter. I hope you do. I know how to strike back too. She struck me. I just got a thing. She struck me. I counter it when I get off the live, but I hope you can.
She probably gonna strike me too, Chad.
I hope we'll see it. She struck Silas beat it. I hope you know how to beat him, though.
What she struck for?
She struck. What does it say? It's a video I did. What is it? Since April? No, that's when I got struck. When is it? A video I did February 18th. Our morning routine.
February 8th.
You.
She mad, ain't?
It's okay. She gonna be mad when she get a strike back just to show her how I feel. I'm gonna counter it and then I'm gonna strike her back. You can counter it too. I'm sure your auntie and them gonna help you, but just cause you being a dick, I'm gonna be one back.
Damn.
It's a reason you got. I'm sure you got Silas counter, right? Where you think she got it from?
Wow.
Nobody worried. Hey, ain't none of us over here worried about you striking us, sister, because we know how to beat this shit.
Damn sure ain't.
Who's striking? Sorry, stepped away for a minute.
Are you eating, Gabe?
No,
with Quincy.
Oh, she came back?
She struck.
No, she struck me. She struck a video from February. She went back. She mad.
Oh. Well, good luck with that.
Actually, you know
we're
what?
The kings of stopping that shit.
Let me. Why I let these videos play? Let me go ahead and counter this shit now. I don't take long.
Listen, if anything, you could probably take her channel.
Oof, I can't die in here. I got people that my family. It would destroy them.
Lisa admits she made a terrible choice when she decided to drink and drive.
I was very disappointed in myself.
On April 20th, 2021, a judge sentenced Lisa to 20 days in the St. Clair County Jail. 4 days later, Lisa says she was fast asleep on the top bunk in her cell when she rolled off and fell about 6 feet to the ground.
I fell asleep on the 23rd of April. Then I woke up on the floor. I remember myself falling. I could not move my body.
What was going through your mind?
You know what, Gabe? I'm glad this is war. I'm good. You know what? Thank you for the idea, Gabe. Thank you for the idea. This is war, damn it. I'ma have this bitch crying. You struck me? You gonna strike me? You better.
Yeah. And
it's time to slide.
My God.
I got you faded, shouted like Clorox bleach. Soon as I get through with this here live, I'm on your ass.
Need an ambulance.
Who could play that
and
game?
I truly believed the officers, when they came in, they were going to see my condition, get me to a hospital.
Lisa says she asked to go to the hospital repeatedly.
That's all I could say. And they were telling me to get up, get up, get up.
Instead of going to the emergency room, as you can see in this video obtained by the 7 investigators, several deputies wheeled Lisa out of her cell and into an observation room. The jail security video doesn't have sound, but Lisa appears to be screaming as her wheelchair hits the door to that room. Jail staff then put Lisa onto a mattress on the floor. And for the next 65 hours, Lisa lays flat on the ground, barely moving, except when deputies pull her to a sitting position at least 6 times.
I felt like I was being tortured. I was trying to tell myself to try and move your toes, try and move your hands.
Lisa did not know it yet, but she had a cervical spine fracture from the fall.
If someone's had obvious head trauma that could result in a cervical spine injury, they need to be immediately evaluated by qualified personnel.
Attorney Brian McKean is suing the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office and CHS-TX Incorporated, the company that the county says they hired to provide medical care inside the jail.
If you further exacerbate the trauma by dragging somebody around and roughly picking them up and sliding them onto their jail cell, repeatedly grabbing or forcefully, that's the worst thing you can do to someone with an unstable cervical spine fracture.
Right, that's what she was saying. Well, she said she is partially paralyzed, I think. She gonna get a shit ton of money.
McKean says the whole time Lisa was lying on the floor, she never ate and never once went to the bathroom. According to the lawsuit, Lisa wasn't sent to the hospital until late on the 3rd day after her injury. When she finally got to the emergency room, doctors noted that Lisa was only able to wiggle her right toes and fingers slightly and otherwise appeared to be paralyzed from the neck down. Court records show the doctor also said, quote, "It is felt as though the patient has a devastating injury."
The only thing that you could attribute this to is deliberate indifference. How in the world somebody could just turn a blind eye and assume that maybe it's because she's faking it without ruling out a serious medical issue is mind-boggling.
Every single security guard is supposed to be trained on recognizing the signs of medical and mental health distress.
Loyola University New Orleans law professor Andrea Armstrong is a national expert on prison and jail conditions.
What is the responsibility of the jailer when it comes to healthcare?
People who are detained or incarcerated are the only population in the United States that has a constitutional right to healthcare. The same way that a jailer can't deny someone food, they also can't deny them healthcare.
In court filings, the attorney for St. Clair County and the Sheriff's Office employees deny the deputies did anything wrong, and they're now suing the medical providers with a cross-claim. The county's lawyers said CHS-TX Incorporated is paid over $2 million a year to provide health care to St. Clair County inmates, and their professional medical staff made all of the medical decisions in the case of Ms. Brown. Meanwhile, Lisa says in the nearly 3 years since her injury, she has pushed through hours of rehab to be able to walk again with assistance.
My arms, like I can't, I can only lift. I can't really do my hair.
And she says she no longer has full use of her hand.
I was supposed to do 20 days and I ended up doing 6 weeks in the hospital with 2 neck surgeries. So they were moving me all around and I had a broken neck.
The St. Clair County Sheriff declined to talk to us on camera. Also, attorneys for the medical staff and CHS-TX have not responded to the 7 investigators' request for comment, but in court filings, they say that Lisa's allegations are just not true. Of course, we're going to follow this as it plays out in court.
So it's going to just have to work its way through the court system.
Absolutely, she is.
Thank you, Heather.
An Oklahoma youth baseball coach is under arrest after a woman says she caught him in the act.
Okay, mom holds HIV positive husband at gunpoint when she finds him raping her 12-year-old daughter.
Oh, shit.
Sexually assaulting her daughter in her own home. We're digging into this wild case with renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, we want to warn you that what we are about to talk about is extremely disturbing. I can't emphasize that enough, but with that warning, here we go. A man is accused of raping his own stepdaughter, and the abuse allegedly started when she was 11. Earlier this month, 39-year-old Donovan Scott Shepard, a coach for the youth baseball team Oklahoma Aftermath, was out at a bar in Moore, Oklahoma. That's when he allegedly got into a fight. According to police, his wife came to pick him up, took him home to Oklahoma City. And according to an affidavit, the woman went to bed, but Shepard didn't. She went looking for him, entered her daughter's bedroom, and that is when she told police she saw him raping her 12-year-old daughter. Again, Shepard's stepdaughter.
Law and crime.
Woman actually
I'm sure
held
they
Shepard
videos
up
are monetized, and they
told the
just
police
straight
not
up say the
believe
word.
that.
They ain't trying
And
to
to make
bleep it
this
or nothing like
even
they make the
more
rest of us do.
horrifying, when Shepard was arrested, police say both Shepard and his wife told them that Shepard was HIV positive. When police later interviewed this young girl, she told them that Shepard raped her and that this wasn't the first time this had happened. No, she told authorities she was attacked 6 times, starting when she was 11, and claims that he even assaulted her on her 12th birthday. Shepard is facing a huge list of felony charges: 4 counts of rape, 2 counts of lewd molestation, 1 count of pattern of criminal offenses, and 1 count of exposing others to AIDS. By last look, he's being held on a $500,000 bond. Now we are going to talk about it. Let me bring in renowned journalist, predator catcher Chris Hansen, host of Takedown on True Blue. You can check it out at watchtrueblue.com. And also he's the host of the podcast Predators I've Caught. Chris Hansen. Chris, so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. My gosh, this one, huh?
You can't make that up, Jesse. Thank you for having me. I wish it was on a little cheerier subject, but that's not why you have me on typically. So.
No, I mean, I would love to have you on to talk about something else, but yeah,
maybe I'll tell you quickly sometime. This thing is, it just takes predatory behavior to a whole horrifying level. I mean, think about this. This guy is HIV positive. He knows that. And he, in spite of that, he engages in this relationship, horrifying as that is, in and of itself, with his underage stepdaughter. It's mind-boggling to think about what was going on in his mind that allowed him to do this. I mean, it shocks the conscience on every level.
I wanted to ask you, Chris, in your experience, in the cases that you've covered, that stepfather, stepdaughter dynamic, do you see that a lot in your experience, and what does that tell you?
Here's what we see. Oftentimes, these fantasies played out on porn sites, you then see in real life. We just finished a sting, Jesse, this past week in Alabama, and we use this scenario in other states as well. It's not, exclusive to Alabama, where a mother is selling her daughter for sex, and it is consistently something that predators will want to engage in. And we had a case just last Thursday night. A man showed up after negotiating with someone posing as a child's mother to meet and have sex with a teenager. We've also seen it on the other side, where a guy traveled from Indiana to Ohio to meet with sheriff's department decoys posing as a father and daughter to have sex with a 13-year-old girl. So there is this fantasy in the porn culture out there. And I think when these guys are predisposed to this activity anyway, get all caught up in the porn part of it, suddenly watching it doesn't fulfill their fantasy. And they cross this line, Jesse, between fantasy and reality. And that's when they show up at our door, or in this case, they commit this horrific crime.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. I always assumed, and maybe it was the wrong way to assume, we still don't know the more details about this. He's innocent until proven guilty. But the thing is, I have always been curious to whether or not you have people who get into relationships with somebody in order to target the minor that's in that household.
Well, I think that happens too. I think historically, when I break down these predators into categories, one of the categories is the guy who's a hardcore predator no matter what. And these guys will be the bad Little League coach, bad scoutmaster, the guy who shows up at the food court at the mall looking for opportunity, the guy who may, in some extreme cases, be the guy who marries a woman who's got a stepdaughter to get at the stepdaughter. This happens. Now, how rare it is or how many times it happens, I can't tell you. But I do know that it happens. And we have seen this scenario play out before. We caught a guy in a predator investigation once who had been busted for abusing children who he met in one of those programs to be a foster father, on a Saturday, take the kids to the ball game. And he went through an entire family and sexually assaulted 3 of the kids in the family, boys and girls. And here he is at a predator sting. So it is a pattern. It does happen. Hopefully it's as rare as it would appear to be by, the cases that you and I see, but it does happen that way.
Yeah, so this story is incredibly unsettling. Just a reminder of how the world is unpredictable and not the safest, which leads me into talking about our great partner and sponsor here on Sidebar, Morgan & Morgan. Because if you get really hurt in this world, you should know how to protect your rights and whether you should be compensated for what you lost, which, by the way, they've completely modern. Here you have these alleged crimes that could submit a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar or by dialing pound law, that's pound 529 on your phone. I mean, here you have these alleged crimes that took place from 2022 to 2024.
The time the girl was 11 years old.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells you that he's a stone cold pedophile predator. Yeah. There are guys who try to take advantage of kids in their late teens, wrong, often illegal. But this guy specifically was targeting somebody who was very young, prepubescent probably, and very vulnerable. And these are the worst of the worst predators we see.
And I will tell you, I think one of the most interesting witnesses, because in the information, the charging document, they have one of the witnesses is the doctor from the children's hospital that I feel could be one of the most important witnesses if you're trying to understand exactly what happened, right?
Exactly. And we see this in many cases. We had a situation in Michigan where a guy met a 12-year-old girl on Instagram and groomed her for a period of weeks, flew up from Florida, convinced her to climb out of her family's bedroom window, meet him in a church parking lot, took her to a hotel, offered her money and other things that a 12-year-old girl would like, and sexually assaulted her to the point where she needed to be treated in an emergency room. And it was the treating physician there who alerted authorities, which worked this investigation into motion. And it turns out the guy they arrested in Florida had admitted to doing this 2 other times in other states. So this wasn't just a one-off. But it's, again, it goes back to, these are 2 different cases in that one was a stranger and one was somebody known to the child. But, you need to be vigilant. You need to have this discussion with children. But this one, the case we're talking about today, it takes it to a whole different level. Yeah. Not only the act of it being so horrific, offensive, and just to ruin a child, and imagine the therapy that child's got to go through to get over this, and then you put the HIV on top of it. It's unimaginable, really.
Yeah, it's unthinkable. But again, I think for prove this case, the fact that you have the doctor who's able to document the forensics of this is going to be huge. The aspect of this that the wife was holding him at gunpoint until the police came. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, that's a first. Obviously that would indicate this wasn't one of those situations where the mother was somehow complicit or looked the other way or, didn't want to face the reality of it when she did find out. And oftentimes these extreme cases, as rare as they are, nobody wants to believe it. Nobody would suspect another human being of committing such an atrocity. So, they're not looking for it, so they don't see it. But when she did see it, to hold him at gunpoint would indicate to me, in terms of doing the criminal math here, that this was the first time she found out about it.
And the fact that he's a youth baseball coach, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that one of the reasons he's a youth baseball coach is to be exposed to children.
Yeah.
And to have access to children. And if he's doing this to his own stepdaughter, what has he done with other kids in his care who've been in his company? And to me, this would signal the need for a much larger, expansive investigation. And I'd be shocked if we didn't find some other, act here, some criminal act.
All right.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, there could be. It makes me wonder if other people would come forward if they have information about it.
I think typically once somebody has, the courage to come forward, you see others do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it would not surprise me one bit if you saw other people come forward.
I want to leave on this statistic and get your final thoughts on it. So according to the National Center for Victims of Crime, approximately 1 in 5 girls are the victims of child sex abuse. That is in relation to, or in contrast to 1 in 20 boys who are the victims of child sexual abuse. And it mentions that during a 1-year period in the United States, 16% of those between the ages of 14 and 17 have been sexually abused. And throughout an entire lifetime, 28% of U.S. youth between 14 and 17 have been sexually abused. And again, we're talking about somebody who is younger than this. We're talking about somebody who, by all accounts, if this wasn't protected by the wife, this probably would have continued, allegedly continued.
Fuck. The name of the video was when I said Equal Q reveals her presidential bathroom only has a sink and toilet. Where's the tub? That's the one she took down. And it was a tub in there though.
Just when you think about that stat, and you think about how often we're talking about these kinds of things. I just want to give you the final thoughts on it.
This is why we do those stories. This is why we continue to expose these deeds and to try to catch these people before they actually harm a child. Now, have they harmed a child before they show up in our investigations? Maybe, potentially. And in some cases, I think it's probable. But the more we have parents talking about this, especially in this internet age where kids are exposed to all kinds of things for the first time, at a very young age, it's the dialogue. It's starting to talk to your child at the very moment they become active on the internet to say, look, there are adults who want to trick you. And no matter what happens or how foolish you feel, you can come to me and you're not going to get into trouble. This goes back 20 years, Jesse, to the first time we interviewed a bunch of
you. I have a rule too. When I get my videos back, I always re-upload them. I premiere them just to put people's memory and to put it in the forefront of people's memories of what went on in that video that triggered you so much to strike it. There must have been some good in that video. I could look at it tonight, but I'll just wait until it comes back and I'm gonna just re-upload it and play it. Well, I just might review it. Fuck it. I can review it.
Middle schoolers about the Predatory investigations. We showed them video. They thought it was actors. They didn't think it was real. And I asked them, I said, how many of you have been approached by an adult online and it made you uncomfortable? All of them raised their hand, about 8 of them. I said, how many of you told your parents? 2. I said, why not? Damn. We didn't want them to take away the internet. That still applies today. You have to make this, whether it's sextortion or whether it's this kind of a crime.
Let me find out you struck me just so I could get your email address. She said I used less than 5 minutes of her content. 32:48 to 37:54. Well, no, that's 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Let me find out you email. You did that just so you can get my email. You could have just put that in the comment section, man. I'm not hitting you up because that's one of the actions. Contacting the person. I don't want to email you. I don't want to have no phone conversation with you. Nothing. No DMs. Nothing.
No deal.
Yeah, I don't know what when Cheryl came out on her ass, she wanted to link up and talk to Cheryl and be like, I can help you grow your channel and all that shit. I'm good.
Well, maybe you can get the ebook from her.
It hadn't dropped, so the ebook ain't dropped nor the courses. Neither one. She too busy striking. She ain't uploading shit.
Home, whether it's on the internet.
You do see me laughing about this, right? I don't know what kind of reaction you thought you were gonna get out of me, or if you were gonna be no big hoopla, man. I've been through this shit before. Your auntie used to struck me a lot of times.
I would say, miss, if anything, fucked up.
Well, now, cause I'm gonna hit her. I'm gonna strike her back since she struck me, just so she can know how the shit feel. But yeah, that's it. I ain't gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta see what the ancestors say.
Yeah, because you have the Infinity Gauntlet. But with great power comes great
You have to create an environment where a child can come forward and say, "Hey, mom. Hey, dad. I don't feel so good
alive, so it didn't affect shit
about this." And you can't, yell at the message.
As soon as the counter comes through, I believe as soon as the counter go through, strike gone. The video just to be down for 10 days.
Trigger. You can't blame them. You got to listen to them, and you got to help them. That's our job.
So well said, Chris. I think that's really, really important. Listen, I really, really appreciate you coming on to talk.
Next video, Texas activist Cornell Brown, or whatever, Cornell X, speaks out about there was a teacher arrested for sex trafficking. Now, y'all, this story is wild. I started listening to like the first 5 minutes to get a gist, and I was like, I'm gonna talk about it. All I know thus far is it was a woman that was a teacher. She was recruiting female students for her son to pimp them. Yes, for her son to pimp them. And it appears that they had made complaints about this woman before, and they lied that nothing happened. And then when they were asked about the complaint, they lied about it. And dude busting their ass out because he got the actual complaint. Yeah, he got receipts. He got the complaints where it was somebody from the board and whatever they call them above the board, the school board people. So it's just crazy. Yes.
To be honest,
well, I don't know if it's a superintendent or whatever they said. They said some strange name.
Truth, this is one of the most horrendous stories we have ever had to deal with in my history as an activist. We're talking about a teacher, a trusted servant teacher on a high school campus, recruiting prostitutes from her students to work for her son as their pimp. This teacher, Miss Grisby, was allowed to
This is what you call an ain't shit mom.
Remain on this campus after it was brought to the school administrator's attention that this was taking place in February of 23. This was brought to their attention. But
a year ago, it was brought to their damn attention.
Same administrators, instead of thoroughly investigating the complaint, they retaliated against the teacher who brought it to their attention. When I spoke with the district the other day, I said, how could you not know or tell the parents about all of this? They swore for God that they did not know. They swore for God that they had no information about this until law enforcement called them and say, we're going to arrest Miss Grisby today. Well, I say to Klein, Kane administrators, you a damn lie. We got the proof. Where's the dog? Open it up. Open it up. Let me show these lying snakes here at this school. And we want all the parents to see this. Here's a complaint back in February of 23, a sworn statement by the teacher that named Miss Grisby, that named what law enforcement brought to her attention. Law enforcement went to her house about her daughter, who was one of the victims, and she came the next day and informed the school of what was happening in detail in the statement.
She said the police contacted me about what was going on with my daughter, and it was linked to the teacher.
About the prostitution ring, who's the teacher that was involved, and the young man's name that was involved. And the school district took a statement in the office with the principal and the district representative. And now you lying.
There you go, Gabe. The district representative. He didn't specifically say it was the superintendent or not.
Yeah, basically the superintendent's PA.
Snakes. want to tell the public that you had no idea about Miss Grisby. Oh no, that's a lie. We got it right here. We got text messages where she's texting back and forth with school administrators talking about what she brought to their attention. But yet they did nothing. The principal should be terminated. And I would say to the police chief, why they never brought it to your attention? It was brought to their attention. We got the documents. It was brought to their attention in detail in February of 23. Why they didn't do a duty, brother, to speak to you as police chief? You should do your job now and start indicting these officials.
Yeah, because that's crazy. If police went to this parent about her daughter, then there should be a police report. How come the chief or nobody knew about this?
School for failure to notify. They didn't notify law enforcement and they did not notify the parents. And as parents, they had a right to know that their children were a part of a prostitution ring. And you left the teacher after the report was given, after the case number with Harris County Sheriff's Department was given. You left that teacher on this campus to a few days ago. She was allowed to remain for a few days ago. This don't pass the smell test. All of y'all should be fired.
Yep.
Well, they always say the chicken's gonna come home to roost. So back in November of 2022, Roger, which is the son of Miss Grisby, was arrested. Okay? This information was brought to the district by this former teacher back on February 21st, 2023. Okay, so when this teacher brought it to Miss Nicole Payton, Shayna...
Yeah, he got arrested in November.
November?
Go ahead.
And Robert Cabal...
Call the names.
Was who she spoke to on that campus on February 21st, 2023. Carrie Evo, E-L-B-E, is one who took the statement on February 21st, 2023. Miss Davis is who came to the campus and called the principal as well as this former teacher in to either for her to demand to resign or to be terminated because she blew the whistle on Miss Grisby because her daughter was involved.
So the teacher's daughter was involved and she told the school.
Same parent reached out to me, this parent/teacher reached out to me back in 2023 because when her daughter was caught in the hotel back in 2022, the daughter had charges on her. And so she ended up getting legal counsel. So then when she got the legal counsel, then her daughter was no longer in trouble. They found out that the daughter was the victim. Okay, so when we go from there, we got emails in reference to after the whistle was blown, then we got retaliation. Back in February 24th, 2023, that was sent. Okay, so this email was sent to Carrie, E-L-B-E-L-B, which is with Klein ISD.
Name the date.
On February 24th, 2023 at 11:05 a.m. talking about new concerns. Okay? Then it was brought with that response was that they were unable to meet with this teacher when she was trying to state the concerns and also provided evidence about what was going on.
But remember, February 23rd is when she reported. She reported on February 23rd to district officials. And on February 24th, they were talking about having a meeting with her. You understand? A secondary meeting. So I just cannot wait since the district officials are here. Y'all are here, right? Are y'all here? Or Cat got your tongue now? So I can't wait for you all to come on up here and tell us what you've been telling to the public that you did not know about this.
But wait a minute. But then there was another email that was sent on February 21st, which was the very first email. February 21st, 2023 at 5:23 p.m.
by the former teacher where it states evidence of allegations. The former teacher provided evidence of the text messages that this young man who is now locked up in Harris County that was sending to her directly, threatening her. So this was also sent to Miss Carrie Elvey on February 21st, 2023. And this teacher asked to be remain anonymous.
We're going to step out of the way now and let the district respond. Excuse us.
Yeah, let us get up here.
Are y'all coming?
One at a time.
Y'all coming? But wait a minute. Didn't you and I talk? Didn't we talk? Didn't you tell me you all didn't know nothing about this? You told me that, sir.
He probably did.
No. You told me, sir, that you all knew nothing about this. I demand
you were gonna step aside. How the hell you gonna step aside and then start hollering?
Because you know they're not gonna come up.
You apologize.
He demands an apology in the middle of the press conference.
To the parents, know nothing about this. You told me that, sir.
He probably did.
No. You told me, sir, that you all knew nothing about this. I demand you apologize to the parents because you all did know. You told me a lie and you told the media a lie that you didn't know anything about this. How could you embarrass the district and embarrass parents with a lie like that? And you left a pimp, you left a sex trafficking pimp of a teacher on campus
for a year
from February 23rd to April 24th in 2024. No, man, y'all got the answer for this.
A year. Over a year.
The lies must come to an end now.
Right.
So we'll take questions from y'all since the cat got their tongue. They don't want to talk all of a sudden now.
Attaboy.
Well, because you were yelling at them, shit.
Dude, they
he
weren't
said he
going
was
to come
coming up.
They weren't going to come up.
You guys want accountability, right?
They need to wipe the administration clean. Fire the principal and every district official and representative who knew about this and did not notify the parents and did not pull that teacher off campus. For them to have that sensitive information, police reports, sworn statements. They left that teacher on.
You got a teacher who's saying, yo, my daughter was involved in this because her teacher recruited her for her son. And they left the teacher there. I'd have been fighting. Fuck that. That mama is better than me because I'd have been up there whooping it lady. Miss Grisby would have had a well-whooped ass.
Yep, during free period. Or during class when she doesn't expect it.
When details was given about her involvement and what she was doing. I want to see them all fired. And then I want to see those who should be charged with failure to report, charged with failure to report. But that is a state law.
You said this former teacher who reported this to not only the sheriff's office, but to the district. She at the time wanted to remain anonymous, but she did bring it to the district's attention. What was going on?
And they talked to Miss Grisby. Sure did. And they had the nerve to tell that woman who reported it. And then her son tried to retaliate against the teacher who blew the whistle. And that's when she made the terroristic threat report and had the text messages of Miss Grisby's son threatening her. Show it again. Show it again. This is the threatening text messages after the district blew her cover to Miss Grisby and she told her son, man, look here, Chief. I'm sorry, Chief. Man, what the hell is going on over here, brother? This sounds like something from Barney Fife. This is crazy.
Miss Grisby told her son and this nigga hit the teacher up threatening her.
What if the district says they have to do, I guess, a thorough investigation?
Well, sir, guess what, though? You don't have to ask me. He's right next to you. She's right there. Why don't you ask them? They do speak English.
Dang.
Ask them. There's a police chief for the district. Ask him. Did you know, sir? Did you know, Chief? Did you know about all of this? Oh, no, all of a sudden nobody going to say that.
Nope.
Well, brother, start putting handcuffs on these people. for failure to report because it embarrasses your office for that to be going on campus and teachers.
Well, they are.
Even if you just think that there might be some kind of abuse, you have to report that. Even if you just have a feeling of it.
You know, the principal and them knew of one student being abused. It wasn't by the teacher, it was by her son, but she was the connection. The son don't be at the school.
No information given, and you all not even conducting independent investigation based on the allegations of students being prostituted. Nah, man.
And not even so much as that. Not even so much as that. Even when you get any form of allegations, in general, period, that teacher was supposed to be removed from this campus for an administrative leave, pending an investigation. That's just like when you're dealing with children in CPS. When you get a call on an allegation, they'll tell you in a minute to remove the child from the home in order to conduct the investigation. That teacher should not still have had access to children with these type of level of allegations.
They left a wolf in the chicken's coop. That's what they did. It's unbelievable. In my years of activism, 3 decades, I ain't never seen nothing like this. These people knew. Who's protecting the kids? These people
protected the kids.
And they did nothing. And then had the nerve to come and lie to the public. We had no idea until the sheriff notified us and they were going to arrest her. That's a lie. It's a lie. We got the documents to prove it. We got the emails back and forth with district officials and the teacher. Man, this is criminal. It's a shame. Next question.
What exactly is in there? How many people?
Oh, we're going to let you take pictures of all of it. When you get back to the newsroom, y'all can go through it.
Just describe it. What
Go ahead.
Okay, so what we have the exchange between the former teacher and the district, who was basically blowing the whistle on what was actually going on. Then we have information with the text messages from the person that is in Harris County who was trafficking those children, as far as we're retaliating against the former school teacher. So we have emails between the district officials and this former teacher. So it's not like that they did not know, because they did. And this is what this evidence showed, that this information was already known.
How did this, I guess, end with the former teacher after she filed the complaint and she?
They told her to either resign
or be terminated.
They told her to either resign or be terminated.
And she's working now in another district.
She's in another district now.
Was she fired from the district?
She resigned.
She resigned. She did the ultimatum that they gave her. Either you resign or
unreal.
Or you be terminated.
Unreal.
Can somebody tell us a little bit about how the allegations against the teacher, like what exactly her role was? We know her son was trafficking. What about her? Like, what role did she play in this?
Well, the mama / teacher, Miss Brisby, was the recruiter, and she was a saleswoman. Wow. She was a part of the promotional team to make her son appear like he could make a ship sail on dry land to young immature girls. And she tricked them, manipulated them, and then put them in contact with her son to be pimped and prostituted. So she was the liaison, the promoter. She was the facilitator.
And put them in motels and stuff.
And this is crazy. This is unreal.
They had a tight operation.
She get motel rooms for students.
Runaways.
So they get, oh man, this is crazy.
You said this is your district.
Yeah, I feel some kind of way about it because this is my district. My children attend school in this district. Okay, and I really feel some type of way about it because at the end of the day, our children all deserve a right to be in a school district where they are safe and where they are protected. And as a parent, we deserve the right to know if we have some sleazeballs that's in the school district, we need to know about it. Right. And we need to know so we know how we need to move with our children and how we need to move forward. You know, because this human trafficking stuff is real. We've seen this in real life and in real time. I own a foster adoption agency. I have human trafficking victims in my agency. I go around this state dealing with human trafficking. This is nothing that's a joke. This is serious. And for them not to take this seriously, this is a step level higher than a child being bullied. We're talking about children being trafficked, $1 billion business. We supposed to know about this.
This is one of the highest linked.
We are in the hub of human trafficking right here.
Houston.
I know damn well I got a teenage daughter. I will have a hissy fit. My daughter was in the dog ring, baby. I've been putting my finger in this ground and told her to turn this whole thing upside down.
I'm telling you, that's what I said, man. Hell, like Mr. Teacher, the teacher whose daughter was actually involved in it, I'd have whooped Miss Griggs' ass. When they told me to resign and get fired, I'd have got fired because I'd have whooped her ass. It'd have been justified. It's on tape, on record, all that shit, emails. I'm justified for whooping this bitch's ass.
I don't think so. My tax dollars pay here. I'm supposed to know.
Do we know
I pay high taxes too.
Does she have a bond? Like, what's her current status right now? Like,
Well, we heard that she was in court this morning. What her condition, what her bond is, the conditions of bond, I'm not sure about that.
How is that former teacher and her daughter doing since she was one of the victims that have made
The former teacher, she feels vindicated at this point right now, but the daughter is still going through some emotional issues right now. But she's also seeking legal counsel because she was retaliated against for being a whistleblower, and she got an open closed case. If you ask me.
But what's so painful?
He's gonna get paid.
She reported this in February of 23. Gave them details. And
they ain't fired until the police brought charges
on campus, continuing to be a teacher until April of 2024.
Recruiting worker, a year work, another 14
the
months
level
of
of
recruiting
incompetence,
girls.
ignorance, and negligence.
She didn't stop recruiting girls. She was more careful, but she didn't stop.
By district officials. It's beyond belief to some degree. But we got the documents to prove it.
Well, you know, this is what happens when you try to cover stuff up. You know what I mean? See, you have to shine the light like on a roach in the kitchen. You got to shine that light on.
What is better is that? Speakers.
We've already said what we want from district officials. But let me say to the parents, if I was a parent of a student at this school, I'd raise holy hell to clean house. If I was a parent of my child went to this school, ain't nowhere in hell the principal would still be the principal or anybody else in that damn administrative team that knew about this. And I would be demanding an investigation by the district police department for failure to report child abuse. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for your presence. We appreciate it. Maybe they'll say something to you now.
Somebody said, we're going to show y'all all the documents. Okay, the next one. Hold on. I just let it come up. It's easy to
Do you have any feel-good weird news stories?
No, absolutely not.
Damn.
Predator posing as 14-year-old.
Alyssa Zinger, a 23-year-old grocery store worker dancing on TikTok. She was already in legal trouble, accused of having Alyssa Zinger, a 23-year-old grocery store worker dancing on TikTok. She was already in legal trouble, accused of having sex with a junior high school student. Now she's facing more charges, and her parents could also be in trouble. We have the scoop. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Alyssa Zinger is a 23-year-old grocery store worker who was accused of posing as a homeschooled 14-year-old girl so she could have sex with a boy who was between 12 and 15 years old. We first told you about Zinger last December when she was charged with 2 felony counts of lewd or lascivious battery and 5 felony counts of lewd or lascivious molestation. Now Zinger is in the Hillsborough County Jail in Tampa facing even more charges. She's now accused of having sex with 5 boys who are either 13 or 14. Now this isn't a
This hoe is a real pedophile.
complete shock because Tampa's police chief had said last year he believed there were more victims out there, and he had called Zinger a predator. The investigation began last October after a girl reported that Zinger had sent a video of her having sex with a boy to her classmates through Snapchat. Police say the boy told them Zinger appeared more mature than the age of 14 that she claimed to be.
And now Zinger's parents could also be in legal jeopardy after a detective hinted in court that they may have tried to hinder the investigation. More on that in just a minute. Joining me to discuss this case is somebody who knows a lot about defending people. He's Brian Claypool.
Them folks said, fool, she ain't 14.
He's a trial attorney. Brian, the facts in this case and the allegations are pretty stunning. Alyssa Zinger is actually accused of posing as a 14-year-old girl so she could molest teenage boys.
Yeah, that's just staggering. I mean, the thing that strikes me the most, too, putting aside, her obvious nefarious behavior, is how was she able to post a profile and pretend to be a 14-year-old? My point being, shouldn't we as a society be looking at these social media platforms like Snapchat? A lot of this was happening on Snapchat, Instagram, and all these other media portals. I mean, there has to be some kind of new law legislated where, for example, the age of anybody that jumps on something like Snapchat has to be verified. That to me was one of the most staggering facts in this case.
We do have some really young kids.
How do you verify 14-year-olds' age? Because I would normally be like, 14-year-olds don't need to be on there, but if a 14-year-old can get them a goddamn following and make money off of it, I'm all for it. I don't feel like you gotta wait till you a certain age to start getting money, start becoming an entrepreneur. I don't feel that way. But how does a 14-year-old verify their identity? Most 14-year-olds don't have IDs. You don't get them until you start working or you drive. If it's legal to drive at 16 in your state.
Well, the most they have is a student ID.
Schools don't have that shit. Well, we didn't have them when I was in school. We didn't have damn student IDs. Hell no. I've never seen my kids with a student ID.
They were just laminated, but it wasn't nothing special, but it was a student ID nonetheless.
I went to private school. In private school, we didn't have them. Maybe it's a thing now, but we didn't have them shit back then.
When movies were
You had an ID in school?
And with a student ID, I think it was $6.50.
Yeah. No, we didn't have this shit.
Yeah, we had IDs. But
it's on Snapchat. I mean, that is a good point. And TikTok. That's how she's accused of reaching out to these kids. And then she's also accused of sending a video of other kids, having sex to other kids. So she's accused of transmitting child pornography, essentially, that she captured. So there are several things going on here, but we do have kids as young as 12 accessing these apps.
That's a great point. I mean, I have a teenage daughter. I'm a single parent of a teenage daughter. And I have to tell you, the hair on my skin was rising when I found out she was on Snapchat a couple of years ago for the exact reason we're talking about. I pulled her aside and I said, you need to be careful because there could be people chatting with you in Snapchat who are not who they are pretending to be. They might be an older man who's trying to get after you or to seduce you. And that's kind of scary as a parent, where you have to talk to your kids about, looking at things like, is this person real or not? Are they who they say? And that's why I think we really need to clamp down on verifying ages of men, women who are over 18 who are having these kind of conversations with minors. That's just awful. And then look, another point I want to make is I do a lot of sexual abuse cases, represent a lot of victims of sexual abuse, including minors and adult victims of child sexual abuse. And I had a case a couple of years ago. I represented 4 boys in the central part of California who were seduced and had sexual relations with a teacher at a school. And if you can believe this, one of the school's big arguments in the case was, hey, these are guys. These are young boys. So it's not as bad as a man doing it with a young girl. And I found that argument to be just...
That's offensive and asinine.
Yep.
Boys, girls, and Becky, I'll say girls mature quicker than boys. But you won't use that logic when a teacher is having sex with the same half of older boys was the same age. I can't. That was the school's rebuttal. Typically, that would be like the homie's friend saying that shit, not the school. That'd be your homeboys being like, yeah, he the boy. Wish it was me. That shit there. But the school said it. Oh, that's
really irresponsible. Because as part of working these cases up, you get a psychological profile of the juveniles. In other words, you have them see what's called a forensic psychologist. And then you draw up a report to find out how they've been impacted. And I will tell you, young boys under 18 who are molested by women, it's not a fun game for them when they become adults. They have trust issues. It affects their ability to be in a stable relationship with women when they get older. They view women more they objectify women when they get older. So there's lifelong trauma that's associated with young boys being molested by a woman.
And I'm so glad you brought that up. We've discussed that many times on Crime Fix about how people say, oh, it's a boy, you know, they ha ha ha. It's like locker room humor about how they probably liked it. It does create major issues, and these are crimes that she is accused of, and it doesn't matter that the gender of the person involved in this, the victim is, you know, that it's a boy versus a girl. They're still a child. That's the point here. So Alyssa Zinger, her defense attorney in court, said this is somebody with some developmental issues. You know, she's had anxiety issues over the years, so it wasn't like this is a 22-year-old woman communicating with a teenage boy, or, you know, a 12-year-old boy, or a 13-year-old boy, a 14-year-old boy, because she's got these developmental issues. The state, on the other hand, says, I don't think so. There are no signs of that in her educational records. What do you have to say about that? Is that a defense attorney basically just trying to represent their client and say, hey, my client's not so bad, and, you know, she has some issues here, or is that a legitimate defense?
In this circumstance, if I'm representing Alyssa Zinger, I would make that argument. Here's why. And by the way, I'm not defending.
Hey, Infamous, I was saying I saw you in the girl chat in the comment section that said she was taken advantage of by the Atlanta street interviews guy. I sent you in the chat.
What she allegedly did. But if I'm representing her, and I've got to give a zealous defense, I have seen, for example, her TikTok video. I'm not sure if you saw that. There's one of her dancing in a bathroom. It was filmed in a bathroom, and it looked, you know, my visceral reaction was, this looks like a 13-year-old, not a 22-year-old. That's one example. So I did think, is there something mentally not right with her? And then there was another example where she and one of the boys that she allegedly had a sexual relation with, I think he was 14 or 15, they were caught shoplifting at a Nordstrom store. Zinger's confronted by a police officer, and she lies to a cop and says, I'm here's my name, and I'm 14 years old. Here's my birth date, making her 14 years old. Like, the cops figured it out. That's not her. She's not, or that's her, but she's not 14. She's in her 20s. My point being, she is that psychotic that she's going to lie to a police officer and think she's not going to get caught. So I think there is some type of argument to make. She needs to undergo a mental health exam, and maybe what her lawyers will argue is a doctrine called diminished capacity, which it doesn't absolve her of the crimes, but it would lead to a lesser crime, because what that means is basically her mental capacity was impaired enough to destroy the intent to sexually molest these young boys, and then she would get charged or convicted of a lesser crime.
There are predators everywhere, and they can look like the person next door. Heck, they can look like the person at the grocery store, and they can even live next door to you. Can hide at your kids, or maybe I cover each day reports just that her parents is being held without bail right now, and during a hearing this week about, you know, her alleged crimes and things of that nature, it was brought up that her parents could possibly have some exposure here, because they may have, according to a detective, and I think that we have to say may have, because they have not been charged with a crime, may have tried to hide a cell phone belonging to her and may not have turned it over, the proper cell phone, when they came to the home, the detectives did with the search warrant. So
There goes
we've got
her
that
diminished
aspect of this too. So do you expect the parents to be charged after the detective actually brings this up in court and shows body camera footage of the police at her home?
If they haven't charged them by now, they ain't gonna charge them. They wouldn't wait to court.
With the parents, and as they're trying to serve a search warrant for the phone?
Well, you raise an interesting fact. If that happened, parents should minimally be charged with what's called acceptance.
I don't think he took advantage of her. I think he just don't care who he fucked. Because she could have said no. I listened to her first one, then I listened to her one that I saw you under the comments of, and I didn't hear anything of he forced me to do anything or rape. He offered money and things of that nature. So, yeah. Now, I do disagree with him saying that God put him in her life and shit. Like, that's the stupidest shit in the world. God put her in your life so you could buy her pussy for $110. That is crazy.
After the fact. What does that mean? It means that the parents were not involved directly in Alyssa Zinger carrying out these alleged sexual assaults, but they helped her evade prosecution in this case. They helped her evade justice in this case by possibly hiding evidence. That's what accessory after the fact is. And if that happened, I hope they get charged, because that leads to another point I wanted to make, which is I'm not sure that we've heard the full story about the parents or other individuals who may have been enablers of Alyssa Zinger carrying this out. I have been involved in.
And then what got me is she said he paid her $10 for the interview. That's this nigga here.
I just realized I hit 300. I'm at 302. Shit.
Congrats.
Fucking finally. Jesus. Thank you, everyone.
Get a game. Get a game.
You gotta be dropping that link, man. You gotta be dropping the link. No Diddy.
Hundreds of sexual.
Other women came forward, and no, he's not raping them, but taking advantage of desperate women. You don't want to hear my toxic take, infamous. He's stimulating the economy. They need money. He got it. They were gonna sell some pussy anyway. I shame him more because he fucking homeless women and drug addicts and shit. That's what I look at him more for. Like, you don't give a fuck who you fuck. Like, you making all this money and you choose to sleep with homeless people and shit. That's weird. Even the fact that she said he invited her to her house is weird to me. You bringing homeless people to your house. They ain't got shit, nigga. They will tie you up and rob you while you sleep. What the fuck? That nigga crazy. That's why I'm looking at him sideways. Oh, that shit there. The other shit, if they say no, it just is what it is. All of them can say no, but they need the money. They were gonna do it any damn way. That's what she kept. She made no qualms about it. I was in the spot. I needed the money for a phone. I done the shit before anyway.
These victims, and a couple of those cases have been with multiple victims happening multiple times. Why is that important? Because usually there's somebody on the inside, a family member, a friend, an associate, who is enabling this behavior. And one of the boys that Zinger allegedly has sex with, it happens.
He gonna get roofed one night or something.
3 times. That means that investigators should be looking. For example, where did these take place? Where did the sex take place? Did it happen in somebody's apartment, somebody's house? For example, did that happen in a hotel room? Should a hotel be responsible for seeing a grown woman walking into a hotel room with a young boy?
And according to the police, it's all on tape, Brian. So this is a tough case. If you have her on tape on these videos having sex with these kids, and they are kids, and then she's sending a video of other kids having sex, my God, to other kids. I mean, this is a tough case to defend.
Yeah, no, you raise another interesting point. In California, where I'm at, the LA area, it's a felony to have an adult send any pornographic, even a naked picture to a minor, let alone a video of sexual intercourse happening. That's a felony separate in and of itself. And if count how many times she did it, maybe it's once, who knows? But those are separate individual charges that carry sentence, certain number of years in jail. So this is an extremely serious case for Alyssa Zinger. And the way I see it is her only, bona fide defense here is the mental health aspect. And by the way, that is going to be a difficult defense if, for example, she hasn't had any therapy before this, right? Because that's what we look at too, even with victims. When they come to us and they say, hey, I was molested when I was younger. Hey, have you ever seen a therapist? If Zinger has never talked to anybody about this, about her mental, development, then that's going to hinder her defense. But that said, if she's got a good lawyer, they're going to have her set up with what's called a forensic psychologist, and they're going to do a detailed mental health exam of her. And I expect her lawyers to make the argument that she was mentally incapacitated and she's behaving like a teenager, not an adult, for a mental health reason.
We will find out as this case progresses. She'll be back in court next week. Brian Claypool, thank you so much.
Beth, thanks for having me.
And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix.
Next one, math teacher.
Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators.
Math teacher allegedly great team at school while other students acted as lookouts.
That sounds about right.
These women is running amok.
It's a pandemic. It really is.
And unfortunately, I think that is one of the first places they meet predators.
In another case we've seen far too often, a Missouri high school math teacher is put behind bars on allegations she had sex with her 16-year-old student. Texas authorities arrested 26-year-old Haley Clifton Carmack on January 5th for charges of statutory rape, endangering the welfare of a child, sexual contact with a student, and 4th-degree child molestation. According to police, she was suspected of fleeing the state of Missouri after the allegations and was picked up in Garden Ridge, Texas, about 30 minutes north of San Antonio and nearly 12 hours away from where she lived in Lakeway, Missouri. Police in Missouri say they were alerted to Haley's alleged behavior in early December after a student witness came forward and reported the relationship to their school's resource officer.
Where is the rest of the community? Where is the principal? Where are the other teachers? This particular incident, it sounds like other students were the quote unquote lookout for this, and I'm going to use the term couple loosely. This is something I see very often in my practice, and I think that it makes people wonder about the bigger community. And so I think we've all heard the term that it takes a village to raise a child. That doesn't stop just because the child goes to school.
I spoke with civil litigation attorney Hillary Nappy, who leads her firm's victims' rights practice and has litigated hundreds of cases on behalf of survivors of sexual abuse. She tells me the female teacher-to-student relationship cases are happening far too often, and it's time for schools across the nation to wake up to the abuse that could be happening right under their nose.
I think that there is a stigma that gets placed on young men when they were sexually abused by men. And I don't think when a female is the abuser, that same stigma often applies for young boys. And I think that it is a cultural thing that, we as a society, we have to get over it. We have to start educating our parents and educating our children that, this is not a quote unquote fantasy that a boy is living out just because he is having a sexual relationship with an older woman. Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators. And unfortunately, I think that is one of the first places they meet predators. And we hear this too often across the country. So, this one school in Missouri, certainly not an outlier.
And court documents reveal more disturbing details. According to officials, the relationship occurred from November 1st of 2023 to around December 23rd. Investigators say the student witness learned of the relationship between Haley and the 16-year-old boy after they were shown photographs of scratches on the teen's back that he allegedly received while having sex with her in the witness's driveway. The student also told police they overheard a phone conversation between Haley and the victim, where the victim told Haley it was his birthday and she replied, quote, "I'm out of state, but I can send you money, baby." The student witness told police Haley was too friendly with her students and at times dressed inappropriately, such as wearing tight or low-cut shirts to show off, quote, her headlights and tight leggings to, quote, show off her camel toe. The 16-year-old victim allegedly told the student witness that he was the reason Haley's divorce from her husband was pushed through, and that Haley wanted a divorce due to her husband only wanting to, quote, do butt stuff. Police also learned Haley had openly discussed her personal life with her class, including details that she had gotten.
Laugh at it. She wanted to do butt stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make a laugh.
It's the 16-year-old saying this. He was embarrassed talking to the damn detectives.
I know, but it's still, it's sorry.
But it goes to show his mental capacity as well. Why that
it also
the
shows
dude
mine.
was saying the last time that the district was saying, "Oh, come on, it's a boy." Look how he's describing it to detectives. They're getting this after police report.
Damn.
Trouble with the school for being too close with students, which was later verified by the district superintendent. Investigators say on December 8th, they made contact with Haley to seize her phone through a search warrant, and she handed over the device with no issues, but police noted she did not have the normal behavior of someone facing the same accusations. Police say Haley denied having any kind of relationship with any student outside of school, denied having contact with the victim outside of school, and denied all allegations. However, according to investigators, Haley's text messages beg to differ, and the messages recovered from her phone show a conversation between Haley and the victim discussing their relationship. On December 23rd, the sheriff's department received an anonymous tip that Haley was about to bolt and leave town to go to Texas, but before she left, planned to meet with a 16-year-old boy. After Haley's arrest in Texas, the school district where she worked released a statement reading in part, quote, "We are aware of criminal charges filed against an employee for alleged misconduct. We understand that charges are not the same as conviction, and the employee is to be considered innocent until proven guilty. We must stress that alleged misconduct is inexcusable. It does not meet the professional standards of district employees. An investigation is ongoing. The employee has not been in the district since December 8th, and we do not anticipate her return," end quote. But in another twist and turn in the case,
your parent is supposed to be the person who is your front line in defense of protecting you, not feeding you up to a predator.
Investigators say they spoke with another witness who alerted them the teen's father was completely aware of the sexual relationship and that Haley had been over to their home before she fled from Missouri to go to Texas. On January 4th, police arrested the teen's father on a charge of endangering the welfare of a child. According to court documents, the father revealed to the second witness more shocking information, that Haley and the teen used students as lookouts while they were having sex during school. This unnamed witness also told police they saw the father on the phone with Haley as Haley asked what was told to detectives. When the witness told the father they planned to go forward to police, he responded by saying they're going to do it behind my back, so I may as well let it happen. And also said he would lie for his son if he had to. For Nappy, she believes the charge against the teen's father was appropriate.
From a criminal perspective, endangering the welfare of a child is a crime, and it would be no different if, someone was beating his child and he allowed that to happen.
In the past few months, Law and Crime has reported on several cases involving female teachers having sexual relationships with their underage students. In Louisiana, Tatum Hatch allegedly sent a 15-year-old boy nude photos of herself and touched him inappropriately in her car with her young child present, even telling the 15-year-old she was worried she wouldn't be the one to take his virginity. Then in Texas, Adriana Ruyan, a middle school teacher in Laredo, was accused of having sex with her 13-year-old student and texted the young boy she might be pregnant with his child. In Idaho, Jessica Lawson, a high school teacher, was charged with having sex with her teenage student after police were alerted to a person finding a teenager driving Lawson's car with Lawson in the back seat because she was too drunk to drive. All denied the accusations and allegations made against them. But are we seeing a rise of these cases, or have they always been around, but now
always been around?
I got a
more
question
people
for you.
are reporting them?
In high school or junior high or anything, did you have any teacher that was kind of, walking that line?
See, that my teacher stopped being fine in 6th grade.
Okay, I see. We had
but my son, my oldest son, had some fine ass teachers. I fucked a couple of them too. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, the teachers these days, they different. They in the classroom with tongue rings in and tattoos showing and shit.
Dude, I bet you those teachers were bomb ass pussy, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Teachers, yeah, I know. Yeah, you know.
That was AKAs.
I think it's the latter. I think that when you look at child sexual abuse and the statistics, those numbers were always there historically, right? And male on male, female on male, male on female. I think that we are a different society and we should be commended for how much we are now talking about this issue.
I hope Grayson have a fine kindergarten teacher.
One of the reasons that so many people have trouble with coming forward and disclosing their sexual abuse is the fear of, how they'll be perceived and the stigma that goes with that abuse. And so I think with the conversation happening now, and Me Too was really the catalyst in my.
See, when you say taking advantage, it make it seem like he giving them roofies and shit. You gotta be more specific.
Opinion to start this as a society, you're going to see more and more of this, and more people are going to come forward. I also think it's kind of like that masculinity view that a lot of young men don't necessarily recognize that their sexual interactions with an older woman are wrong. It gets.
My teachers in high school had fupas and shit.
Now
they were old women.
But I get what you're saying about teachers today. They're not
the teachers I had in high school have been teaching like 35 years and they was ready to retire. It wasn't no young fine tenders coming up in there. Jet.
Like I said, we only had one in all my life.
Portrayed in porn and in movies as being glamorous and cool and the thing to do, and those young men have developing brains just the same as a young girl, and so we would look at it very differently, right? If we saw a adult male teacher engaging in a sexual relationship with a student, and I think that we need to look at that the same way if it's a female teacher and a male student.
She adds many safeguards that were supposed to protect students seemingly were unsuccessful, putting multiple students at risk.
Where was the monitoring, the oversight, and the training for the other teachers about what was happening? As a attorney who handles these cases on a civil context, we always look for what I like to call red flags, right? What were the obvious signs that something was going wrong here? So look, you have a group of students being a lookout, right? Where were those students supposed to be? Were they supposed to be in another classroom? How did they get to where they were to be monitoring this behavior? Were they given hall passes? Were they given regular hall passes to excuse them from school? What about, the student in question that was, engaging in a sex act? Where was he supposed to be at the time this was happening? So there are levels of oversight that clearly were missed here. I like to say it always falls back on training and finding the gold standard of how you monitor people. I don't know enough about, in this particular instance, if this female teacher had done this before, had ever had accusations made before, but if so, right, memorializing those and, I think acting quickly on reports of something being off from another teacher and sort of investigating that in the right way, usually kind of spills out into terminating the teacher before something like this happens.
But for the victim in this case, he could have more hurdles to overcome later on.
But statistically and scientifically, right, we have more developed brains. That's why there is an age of consent. These things weren't just developed by the legislator to curtail people's behavior. It was based on something. And I think that in my practice, I've seen it where it's taken people quite some time. And if you look at the national movement of extending the statute of limitations for civil lawsuits and criminal recourse, it's accounting for that delayed disclosure. It's accounting for that child coming to grips with what happened, putting it in context, realizing that that sexual relationship, right, had an impact on their ability to focus, their ability to work, to learn, to have other relationships, depression, anxiety, sometimes post-traumatic stress, all get roped into this. And of course, a myriad of other mental health issues, but those are the big ones. And, they then spin off to different things that people use for Band-Aids to try to deal with it. So early intervention for a child when they are in this situation is extremely important. It ends up teaching that child how to cope. Right? It doesn't cure the situation, but it gives that child some sort of, framework for how they kind of get through the triggers that will come. And it's no different for a male or a female.
The next story is a nigga shot somebody in the ass over guacamole at Chipotle.
Police body cam video of a man being arrested after he allegedly shot a restaurant employee because he was angry about guacamole.
The reason that this happened is because of poor decisions, inability to control emotions, and that's what led to the shooting.
It happened Friday night at the Chipotle on Evergreen in Southfield.
This happened right across the street from the police station. So what's the nerve of that? And you think you're going to get away with it?
32-year-old Aaron Michael Brown arrested a short distance away. At a press conference on Monday, a timeline.
The suspect, Mr. Aaron Brown, entered the Chipotle restaurant with his wife. While standing at the register, Mr. Brown asked for extra guacamole on his food that he had just purchased.
Police say he was upset because it wasn't enough guacamole.
Mr. Brown then called the female Chipotle employee a derogatory name, the B word, which upset her understandably.
Fellow employees took her to the back to try to calm her down, leaving the front counter unattended.
Our suspect, Mr. Brown, who previously had paid for his food items, began to proceed to go around the counter and began to bag his own items, and then he took a cup and filled it with guacamole.
A 21-year-old male employee tried to stop him. Physical altercation, and then Brown, a licensed CPL holder with no prior criminal history, allegedly shoots the employee in the leg, then takes his food and calmly walks out.
I was in my car and I saw him just walk out to his car, close the door, and just drive off. Like he didn't speed off or anything. It was weird to see, but it was like, you think you want to get out of it?
That's the guy here did. Man, he wanted that guacamole bad. He said, I paid extra, bitch, give me my guacamole. Then the young punk, I don't know why he stopped, dude. Like, he paid for the guacamole. Y'all left the counter. He wasn't stealing. He just put his own guacamole in the cup. You done got shot trying to stop this nigga from getting extra guacamole?
He threw his life away over some overrated restaurant shit. Chipotle stinks.
Nah, he didn't do that. He shot him in the leg. He kept it below. It ain't gonna be aggravated than attempted murder. He kicked his aggravated assault.
Well, he made his life a lot harder over some shitty.
And they said he's never had any criminal past, so it's his first time.
Probably just had a really bad day.
Yeah, he passionate about his guacamole shit.
Or Chipotle just sucks that bad. That I can understand.
He mad that he was like, yo, where my ear? That ain't enough guacamole. I paid for extra. And he called her a bitch. And she got to crying. Like, she wasn't arguing back with him. She got to crying or whatever, and they took her to the back. And so since they left, he was like, shit, I'm finna get my own guacamole. He ain't grabbed nothing extra but the guacamole. He grabbed his food, nobody else's. He ain't try to add no extra chicken and no extra fajita. None of that. He just took him some guacamole, put it in a cup.
I'm glad you said
he was about to leave. Everything was cool until the young whippersnapper came out and got a cap put in his ass.
An ass extra fajita.
That nigga ain't getting no book thrown at him. That nigga gonna be out on probation to fuck. He ain't threatened. He ain't trying to take the money out the register. It wasn't no robbery. He just be like, man, this young punk trying to fight me. That's literally what happened though. The young dude fought him. He didn't pull his gun out because he was mad he didn't get the guacamole. The young nigga tried to fight him.
Just because I don't
then
like
takes his food.
I'm on the dude's side. But I'm not saying the dude should have been shot though. Maybe like kicked in the chin.
Yeah, well, but the young nigga probably was getting the best of him.
Our suspect, Mr. Brown, who previously had paid
Hey, he cold-blooded though. This nigga was able to fight a nigga up off him, shoot a nigga, and still not waste the guacamole. So he let him walk down car.
Or used any, extra bullets. One shot, one kill. Or, one shot, one leg.
food items, began to proceed to go around the counter and began to bag his own items. And then he took a cup and filled it with guacamole.
A 21-year-old male employee tried to stop.
And even with the cup that he did, he only took 2 scoops of guacamole. He ain't good. See, the real nigga and somebody would have just took the whole guacamole dish, the little container that it's in. He just put 2 scoops in the cup.
Extra? It costs extra?
Everything costs extra when you ask for extra.
Case closed. This is justified. Fuck that.
The only reason dude got shot is because the young nigga tried to fight him.
I don't know you. Go around the counter and began to bag his own items, and then he took a cup and filled it with guacamole.
A 21-year-old male employee tried to stop him.
This classic case is self-defense, E. Brooks. I don't know what the hell you talking about. My client didn't do anything wrong, but his food was paid for. He ain't take shit extra. He ain't steal nothing. He got attacked by a young nigga trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. I bet he won't do that no more. And she still ain't let the nigga fuck.
Physical altercation, and then Brown, a licensed CPL holder with no prior criminal history, allegedly shoots the employee.
He a CPL holder, everything. E. Brooks, no priors. Oh yeah, self-defense. If anything, probation.
Leg.
That nigga probably already out on bond.
Then takes his food and calmly walks out.
I was in my car and I saw him just walk out to his car, close the door, and just drive off. Like he didn't speed off or anything. It was weird to see, but it was like you think you want to get out of there fast, but it's like he didn't care. I mean, it was.
He said CPR.
Very scary. I don't know.
Brown is being held on a $20,000.
You want to let me see.
Shoots the employee in the physical altercation, and then Brown, a licensed CPL holder with no prior
CPR holder
criminal history, allegedly shoots the employee in the leg, then takes his food and calmly walks out.
I was in my car and I saw him just walk out to his car, close the door, and just drive off. Like he didn't speed off or anything. It was weird to see, but it was like.
And then when I went to the transcript, it said a licensed cup holder.
I think you want to get out of there fast, but
our CPR within one day.
You said who?
When I was a preschool teacher, we had to be certified, so we'd always have our certification done like one day. It would take like.
He didn't care. I mean, it was very.
We're done.
Scary.
And they ain't say if he had no criminal history, I'm sure he had his license to carry. They ain't say he was charged. Are they gonna mention his charges?
I don't know.
Brown is being held on a $20,000 cash bond and facing several charges, including assault with intent to do great bodily harm.
No attempted murder. That's why he shot him in the leg. He know the law. $20,000 bond. He got to pay $2,000 to get out. They probably got reckless endangerment because it was in a restaurant, but they can get that thrown out because again, he shot his intended target, and this lawyer is gonna fight self-defense because the camera clearly shows the young nigga bum rushing him. He didn't say, "Stop, sir, you can't leave." He ran straight up and pushed him. He tried to fight him off top. You attacking me? I can defend myself. You young and spry. I'm old.
Victim is expected to make a full recovery. In Southfield, Camila Mary, Fox 2 News.
Damn, Chipotle.
Some lady.
Okay, Yeah, I'll do this one. Woman hides son's body in trash can after he accidentally shot himself. Crazy, huh? Yes.
Okay.
It says woman. It should have said mom hides son body in trash can after he accidentally shot himself.
I still think
DCFS.
Right off the top. Just saying.
You said who?
I said I think mom had something to do with it right off the top. Because if he accidentally shot himself, that's on him. You know, you call.
Well, that's the thing. She hasn't been charged with his murder. They clearly had to have ruled it an accident because she's been charged with abuse of a corpse. That's it. And there's some other minor charge, but nothing related to his actual death.
Oh, he's in his 30s. Okay.
Some lady.
No, it's a kid.
Oh no, wait. Oh no, I'm reading Tanya.
Yeah,
okay.
He called DCFS. And,
What?
And kind of made some claims that you had a child that accidentally shot themselves.
Absolutely not.
No, it sounds crazy to me too.
That's Sushi Staples, a mom from Illinois caught on body camera denying she has a son. Problem? She's lying.
Man, this is crazy. I don't know. I think I'm being framed.
I'll lay out the entire sad story that includes the death of Staples' 10-year-old son. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy.
Okay.
The case of Sushi Staples and the accidental shooting death of her son Zion is so incredibly sad. Staples is serving a 2-year prison sentence for Zion's death. She pleaded guilty to hiding his body in a trash can for 8 months. But Staples actually wants out of prison early. I'll have more on that in a bit. The investigation into Sushi Staples.
In fact, she's about to get out, Gabe. She got less than 8 months to get out, and she's like trying to petition to get out early, which she might win.
Started back on July 25th of 2020.
Because it was actually an accident.
But if he's 10
makes
years old,
weird.
10 years old, you gotta lock up your guns, or something's wrong there. Your kids should not have a gun with that.
Yeah, because I'm perplexed as to why she just didn't call the police.
Because she's still responsible, because she probably was not locking up her guns right.
They ain't charge her with that shit neither. She about to get out, G.
That's the crazy thing about this. I bet you it's her fault somehow.
She was only sentenced to 2 years, sir.
Man.
For abuse of a corpse and something else. It had nothing to do with him. Like, she ain't had no gun-related charges and no shit like that.
Well, that's what I get for cheering on this.
That I recall.
In Rock Island, Illinois. Police received information from a woman who had known Staples for many years.
At first, it was just like a regular phone call, like how you been, how you been doing, and stuff like that. And then I heard her like crying a little bit, and I asked her, I said, "What's wrong?" And she just stated to me that Christmas will never be the same again.
She looked crazy.
She then stated to me, I said, "Why? What happened?" And she was like hesitant to bring it out and tell me. She then told me that her son she was gone from the house, and she told me that her son had shot himself.
And who do you know her son as?
Zion.
Okay.
She was gone from the house, and he shot himself.
Last Christmas, I shot my heart. The very next day, he threw me away.
Told police that she confessed to hiding Zion's body.
She stated that he shot himself. At the time, he was 9 years old. I said, "What do you mean he shot himself? How did he get?" I asked her some questions like, "How did he get a gun? Like, how did that happen?" She explained to me that she had just stepped out to run some errands, and she received a call from her daughter.
Okay, didn't I tell you earlier that like 10 niggas is getting left at home? It's a rite of passage.
Trinity saying that Zion was gone, and she said, "What do you mean gone?" She said, "Why is he gone? Is he outside? Tell him to get back in the house." But she told me before she left, he kept saying that how he missed his dad or something like that. And he was crying because he felt like he missed his dad or something like that, she had stated to me. Then she said that Serenity said, no, he's on the floor. He's bleeding everywhere. She feared that they would take her kids away, and she was scared to lose everything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said she still had him there. She told me she purchased a burning barrel from Home Depot or something like that you burn.
Whoever this is, they telling all her business. They snitch.
She bought a Kirkland barrel.
And stuff. And she stored them in that. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, he was stored in that in her basement. She said she tried to set him on fire.
Oh my God.
Now, after hearing this, Rock Island police, of course, went.
See, that's what her charge came in, and she tried to set him on fire.
To Staples' home to investigate, and she put on quite a show. Take a look.
You miss Staples?
Yes, how can I help you?
So we got kind of a weird phone call. Do you know Latricia?
No.
No.
I don't know anybody out here.
Some lady called DCFS. And,
What?
And kind of made some claims that you had a child that actually shot themselves.
Absolutely not.
No, it sounds crazy to me too. That's what.
I am so sorry about this. My ex-husband, his new girlfriend, this broad is off the chain. I have went down to Rock Island and filed a police report.
Women lie.
These hoes be lying. I mean, she made that shit up on the spot. She didn't know what the fuck the officer was gonna say, but then when she heard that name, she was like, fuck. But she played it off because she know exactly who she told that shit to. But they was real specific. Your son accidentally shot himself. You ain't told too many people that shit. I don't know who that is, but I'm finna blame it on my baby daddy new girlfriend.
God, I wish I had a stopwatch so we can go from when he said
Hold on,
we heard
her.
your child accidentally shot himself to where she goes, when she knew she was caught. I wonder how quickly she went to that lie.
You to me too. That's what.
I am so sorry about this. My ex-husband, his new girlfriend, this broad is off the chain. I have went down to Rock Island and filed a police report on her.
Okay.
I have went and put a restraining order on her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tony. This girl is never in it. She has so many different Facebook pages she stalks me from. She has made up different names, called me from different numbers. I have changed my number, tried to do everything I can.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can never seem to get them served because they're always bouncing around in the Chicago area.
Oh, okay. They're not even down here.
They're not even out here.
Staples insisted she did not have a son and was indignant that police were even questioning her. Here's more of the exchange.
You guys only have girls?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 4. Do you want to see them?
No. They said it was a son. I was just curious
Sir,
if that's even true.
It's not.
Okay.
It's a never-ending story with these two.
I get. Like I said, I'm not trying to bother you or anything, but we get a call. No matter how crazy it sounds, we still got to come up and see if there's any truth.
And this is crazy.
It is.
This is very crazy.
Okay.
I have been living here for 6 years. My neighbors have never had a complaint. Don't you think if my neighbors would have heard something like that, they would have made a call or said something to somebody?
I would believe so, yeah.
Just think about it. It don't make no kind of sense. This girl is psycho.
Just so I can check the box off, can I look in your basement real quick and I'll get out of here?
No, you need a search warrant to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not about to have my blood right.
He knew exactly where to go. Hell no, you can't go in my basement.
Violated because someone makes Uranus allegations like this.
I know, like I said it.
Uranus? Oh, we Uranus allegations.
So I can check the box off, kind of look in your basement real quick and I'll get out.
No, you need a search warrant to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not about to have my rights violated because someone makes Uranus allegations like this.
I know. Like I said, it sounded crazy to me too. I'm just up here seeing it. You know, we have to investigate it.
Now, police obviously didn't buy what Staples was selling. They had received a call about a child who hadn't been seen in many months.
Can I see the warrant, please? And I can call my lawyer. Can I see the warrant before we walk any further?
We have a valid search warrant.
I want to take.
I don't know. Police never give you the warrant up front. They always give you that motherfucker on the way out the door. That's weird policy.
Sometimes it's a Chinese menu. Training day.
Just a short break from this Sushi Staples body camera video to tell you about something that can help you. Truth Finder has within minutes show you sex offender status and your loved one's safety. Body cam in hand. Staples, of course, told them that's what they needed to do if they wanted to look inside her home.
I'm scared to death because I don't know what's going on.
I'm scared to death. I don't know what's going on. You told the nigga they needed search warrants. They came back with it. See, had you just let the officer in, you could have locked him in the basement and just started becoming like Jason or something.
Reason we're here, okay, is because we're investigating a call that we had, okay? The officers came out and talked to you last night, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We have to handle that real seriously, okay? Because the allegations are that you have a son and that he's deceased and he's here in this house. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Do you have a son named Zion?
No, I don't.
You've never had a son named Zion?
No.
Are you claiming benefits for a kid named Zion?
No. I haven't gotten any benefits for anyone.
Staples had an answer for everything. Police informed her that the Department of Children and Family Services in Chicago had contact with her children, including Zion. Staples again blamed her ex's girlfriend, who she called a stalker.
You filed for public aid. You got your daughter.
Gotten benefits since I was in Chicago. So I'm not sure. I told you my identity was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
My taxes were illegally filed. I went through a whole thing with the IRS. That was not me.
But who was this Zion that was interviewed by DCFS up in Chicago, right in the presence of all your other children?
There was no
Zion
one
Staples.
No one was interviewed. Where did you say someone named Zion Staples was interviewed?
It was
because the call was made about my son Kentrell by his father.
Yes.
It was never made about a Zion Staples.
But when they went there was
about my son Kentrell, but you said you ain't got no son, just daughters.
The only child that they spoke to, because it was regarding him, had frequent visitors. We had kids in the neighborhood come over. Some of those kids that were implicated were not, in fact, our children. They were there.
So you're saying there was a kid in your apartment that was not your kid, named Zion?
I didn't say his name was Zion. No.
Somewhere here, we've got to clear this up with this Zion Staples.
The detectives then confronted Staples about information they had received and the fact that she had texted someone about the police approaching her the night before.
After that officer left last night, you texted this person and was talking to him.
The one you said you ain't know. Like, bitch, why you tell the police? I'm sure that's what it went like.
Well, we have to take pictures of the whole house and then we'll search, just to show that we're not like breaking stuff and everything else like that. Destroying your place. So you were pissed off that the officers were here, and then
I didn't know who it was because I thought it was this girl that found my number again because nobody has my number. So I thought it was her harassing me again. That's why I told the officer last night.
Who did you text?
I thought it was Tony. You catch a break from this.
We have the whole text thread between you two right after the officers left. It's pretty personal with each other too. Like, you guys very well know each other.
But I thought
it's talking about somebody's daughter. It's talking about
because people are shitty. They say crap about your kids for what?
But you guys know each other. It's not a random just I'm texting a stranger getting mad. It's you two know each other.
You know what? People come after me all the time, and these are the same people I lend my hand to. I've paid for lawyers for people. I've helped people do things. So people envy you all the time. What can you do about it?
Eventually, police told Staples she was going to jail.
Turn on for me.
Oh, no. I'm going to jail? What am I going to jail for? What have I done?
You just admitted to fraud.
So now you're going to railroad me on fraud?
Railroad you what? We're trying to figure out where your kid is.
Right.
You're saying that he doesn't exist.
My kid. So now you're trying to railroad me.
Railroad you what? You did this to yourself.
Just said he didn't. I didn't get any benefits though. I didn't file any IRS returns.
You're in possession of false documentation, and you already said that you signed up and have them for financial aid.
But I didn't. That's what I told you.
Police searched Staples' house extensively, going from room to room, and then Staples was taken to jail. She was charged with several felonies, including concealment of a death, obstruction of justice, and failure to report the death of a child. Police found Zion's body in a metal trash can in Staples' home. He was wearing Spider-Man pajamas. The coroner...
Why in the fuck did she leave? They were probably watching the house anyway, but she just didn't even attempt to move the body after the fuzz showed up. Instead of calling that bitch and arguing, maybe you should have been moving there because they just would have took her to jail for fraud.
Still would have a missing
determined
kid.
He died from a gunshot wound.
But did you hear those charges though? So they clearly, whatever the autopsy showed, he must have died from a self-inflicted gun wound.
Police found Zion's body in a metal trash can in Staples' home. He was wearing Spider-Man pajamas. The coroner determined he died from a gunshot wound, likely suffered in December of 2022.
Wait, what year is this? I mean, is this current?
This story is 6 days.
Returns.
You're in possession of.
Well, yeah, it's current now because she's trying to get out. She's trying to get out of jail now. She wants to get out early.
Trying to railroad me.
Railroad you what? You did this to yourself.
Just said he didn't. I didn't get any benefits though. I didn't file any IRS returns.
You're in possession of false documentation, and you already said that you signed up and have them for financial aid.
But I didn't. That's what I told you.
Police searched Staples' house extensively, going from room to room, and then Staples was taken to jail. She was charged with several felonies, including concealment of a death, obstruction of justice, and failure to report the death of a child. Police found Zion's body in a metal trash can in Staples' home. He was wearing Spider-Man pajamas. The coroner determined he died from a gunshot wound, likely suffered in December of 2022. Detectives also interviewed Staples' hairdresser, who offered some information. This past February, Sushi Staples was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 6 months of probation after pleading guilty to one charge. Last month, she asked the judge to reconsider her sentence because she is a first-time offender and she claims she had ineffective assistance of counsel. No decision has been made on her request just yet. She's scheduled to be released from prison in January. And that's it.
In January of 2025. And she's trying to petition to get out these 8 months early. Well, yeah, that's it. I do got a couple more, but I save them because they're kind of lengthy. But there's one, and it's still, let me get out the title of that one. Atlanta woman discovers husband was getting his cheeks clapped and did the unexpected. I don't know what the unexpected is, but we're going to listen to it tomorrow. I find about 3 or 4 more strange news stories, and we'll be back in it tomorrow. Y'all got anything, guys?
Chipotle really stinks, I gotta say. That's about
Chipotle. And get your ass blown off for guacamole.
Chipotle. Blown out for guacamole.
Chipotle. Just gotta steal the Tabasco. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We up in this thing.
Come to see you old and some focus. Shoot 100 shots, no reloading. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coding. Memphis niggas spit this pippin', mackin' like I'm golden. Hope with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Copy, cooking, whip it, ship it till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving fast niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beef. State gang. True sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it bud and don't speak. Pour a four, I need some more, nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm too geek, smoking by myself, but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we, nothing in their mouth and on their booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me money boy, or you can call me nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breeze. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Ron Island, cause I like my love was choosy. When we link, it's a movie. She busted like a Uzi. I love the way she do me. I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Ron Island, cause I look my love to choose it. When we link, it's a movie. She busted like a Uzi. I love the way she do me. I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. They ain't pleading sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. They ain't pleading sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Now he pleading sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit.